Welcome to the Main Character Podcast. I am your host, Brandon Hamblin, main character of my own story. But this podcast isn't about me. It's about you, and all of you. Every person that has ever lived on this planet, all 8 billion people here now, all that came before us, and all that will come hereafter are the main characters in their own story. My aim is to interview people that embody living in their energy and discovering from their perspective what their perception of reality is like. Buckle up. You're about to experience the world through another main character's eyes. Okay, so you're just in Boise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was in Boise for a Cellcore conference.
Okay, what's Cellcore?
And that was awesome. So they're a company based out of Twin Falls, Idaho.
Okay.
And so they're local, and they have a whole bunch of product lines that are like supplements.
Yep.
And they're really good at what they do. And their ingredients are very good, and they're top of the line in what they do. And a lot of people don't actually do what they do. And so they're one of the lines I use for like cleansing and detoxification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense because, well, one, supplements are not made the same, right? The ingredient source and the process matters a ton.
Yes.
And then you're trying to detox and you have bad things in the product.
Yep.
That doesn't help.
No. And they have a whole bunch of protocols and everything else that you can follow and go off of, and just tons of resources. And the conference was probably one of the best conferences I've been to, actually. Yeah, because it was good and bad, as in it was definitely worth the time and money, because every hour you had something from like 7 to 6. And there was no break in between.
Right.
And so it was tons of professionals. It's very much functional and integrative medicine. So you have a wide variety of people that are there.
Yeah.
And so it was full every hour.
Cool.
But you don't really get breaks. And even the teeny little breaks we had scheduled, speakers go over, so you don't get it. And even our lunch was, you picked a breakout session.
Yeah.
So it was packed. But it was really neat to be around like-minded people.
Yes.
Because it's very different, because I'm a nurse practitioner, very different than nursing.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I got to meet some people that I follow on social media and doctors that I have like seen. And
did you have some like starstruckedness or
a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
I follow you on social media. Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is nice to see them in person, and they are just people, and all that
and to connect with them and like actually have like a conversation with them. And so that was cool.
That is great. Well, and I should probably know this. I'm bad. How do you do on social media? Are you out there posting a ton of stuff?
I am out there, and I post stuff weekly. Do I love it? No.
No.
To be honest, I don't.
Yeah, that's my biggest weakness too.
Yeah. But I do it.
Yeah.
So,
that's
and
good.
I'm getting a lot of good feedback because I'm just authentic and natural, and
and that's what people want. People want to get to know you.
Yeah.
And they can tell when people are being fake.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I'll put a schedule out in my mind, or like in the back office, the topics and things that I'm going to cover like every week.
Yeah.
I never follow them. It's always, it's like, I'm not feeling this right now.
No.
This is not what it is. So like a couple weeks ago, I did a post on seasonal allergies because I'm like, I'm not feeling this topic that I had scheduled. I don't even have my information lined up or ready. And I'm outside, and I'm struggling with seasonal allergies. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a video on this because I know all the information. This is what I'm struggling with. It's spring.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's perfect.
So it's typically what even though I have a schedule and things, I never.
Well, and that's good. You've got that there as a backup in case you don't have that inspiration, but you're following your gut. You're going with what's relevant.
Yeah.
I like that. So how do we find you?
I am... Wow, I should have been prepared with all this. If I'm on the spot, I don't know all the details. It's holistic.unafraid_men's health.
Oh, cool. Okay. And that's Instagram, Facebook.
Those are the two main ones I'm on right now. So
do you do the Twitter?
No.
Yeah, I'm a Twitter guy.
You are?
Yeah.
I have a list of things I'll like start like building onto, but I haven't even like updated my LinkedIn profile.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's what I did this weekend is I finally got the podcast because it was just on Spotify. So now it's on Apple, and it's on iHeartRadio, and it's on YouTube. And then I got my Instagram updated, and my Facebook, and my Twitter. all those things.
Yeah.
It's work. Now I need to actually like post.
Yeah.
I need to take little clips of each of the episodes.
Yeah.
You know, so people just get little bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
That's the secret sauce that I haven't
done yet.
Yeah. So, well, and those conferences are fun.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit about me to tie in there, and you're going to be like, oh, Brandon's crazy. I was listening to Rogan. This is like 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up, my dad, my brothers, addicts, right? DARE program, all of the church, right? All the things. Drugs are bad, drugs are bad, drugs are bad. And I have life experience. Drugs are bad. Listening to Rogan, and he has the director of MAPS on. They're trying to get MDMA and psilocybin and probably like ibogaine and some other things legalized. But they're going through the FDA and doing it through the proper channels and all that fun stuff. And in fact, MDMA was supposed to be legalized because it had phase 3 trials, and the FDA helped them design the trials because it's kind of hard to have a control group when it's like, these people are over here dancing and we're sitting here chill. We're definitely the control group, right? And so it looked like they were going to pass it because it has something like a 70% efficacy rate on intractable depression, especially veteran aimed, right? Like, yeah. And something like ibogaine, like nobody's abusing ibogaine, and there's some pretty cool stories. People traveling abroad and having pretty cool experiences there. Anyways, all that being said, I'm totally against all this stuff. And Rogan has on the director of MAPS, and they go, yeah, we're having this conference down in Denver. If you're at all interested, come down. So I thought I'd go. All of a sudden I'm thinking, well, I don't know why, but I'm feeling the pull. I'm going to go down to this thing. Yeah. I'm going to go check it out. Yeah. And I'm expecting it to be hippies.
Yeah, no.
It was doctors, nurse practitioners, therapists. Yeah. It was 60-70% that. And there was definitely some hippies.
Sure.
But it was, that conference center in Denver is massive. And they had something like 13,000 people. And then they had all these guest speakers. So like Andrew Huberman.
Oh, yep.
He was there.
Oh, wow.
Aaron Rodgers, and like a whole slew of other people that it was kind of eye-opening.
You recently went?
That was 2 summers ago, and they're having their next one in June.
Yeah, in Denver.
Denver.
The integrative, functional, whatever one.
Yeah.
And yes, and Gary Brecka is going to be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to go so bad. But I don't know if I can make it happen.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out.
I want to go so bad.
Yeah, it is
so bad.
A blast. But it's that same thing where it's like, okay, they have 450 different workshops over 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
And how do I make these are the 50 that I want to see, but I really can only do 25 of them.
And when you sign up for their conference, we're going to do a little commercial for them. Yeah. When you sign up for their conference, you also get last year's conference information, which I think was in Europe somewhere.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I really want to go. But what's also hard is I'm a nurse practitioner, and none of those go towards my CE.
Oh,
because it's integrative and functional medicine. Yep. And so it doesn't go for that. So it's also, I have to plan accordingly to also cover my CEs and all of that, and which conventions I'm going to, and all that.
And which money is getting spent on what thing. And
exactly.
Yeah, time and money.
But I really want to go to that.
Yeah. Well, so if you can't make it this year, whether it's next year or the year after, I know they'll do another one. And it's totally worth
It's international, so you never know where it's going to be.
Right.
Which could be good.
It could be good.
Like, well, maybe in 2 years we're in Italy. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't sound bad.
No.
I'm in. I've always wanted to go. Have you ever been over there?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I want to. There's a lot of places I want to go to.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe that's a good transition point.
Oh, okay.
Where have you been? Where did you grow up? How did you end up in Coeur d'Alene?
Okay. So I actually grew up in Southern California.
Ah, okay.
I know. Yep. So Ventura, San Diego, LA. And then my parents moved us up here when I was in high school.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you weren't like a recent move.
No,
okay,
not
all right.
A recent move.
The rest of them can get out that have moved in the last couple of years.
I have been here little over 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you preceded all of the major moves into Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, and I graduated high school from here.
Yeah.
And up in the boondocks. So, yes.
Yeah.
And so my whole family moved here.
Well, and even this right here was probably still farmland at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All these developments.
Post Falls and Rathdrum for sure.
Yeah.
So I remember driving through, going to work. So working in Coeur d'Alene and driving up to Spirit Lake. And I loved it because there were mint fields.
Oh, and it smelled amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and beautiful.
It was wonderful. And there was some kind of weed or grain or something also mixed in there. But I just remember rolling down my windows and like
breathing in that air.
It was wonderful. Yeah. Very different now.
Very different. Yeah, that is it's sad to see, especially coming from Southern California where people are on top of people. And these areas, it's so beautiful up here, but it attracts people, and then you take away the natural beauty. Like, I hate going downtown and they're building all those sky rises. And I'm like, can we not? There's a lake that we'd all like to see.
Well, and they just did that in Post Falls too. So they're building, I think it's a hotel. I don't know if it's a hotel or apartments. I think it's hotel. And it's however many stories. And so it's blocking the mountain right there.
Yeah.
And I was actually very surprised that Post Falls allowed that to happen because they're pretty conservative with all their stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, how did they not put a limit on like the stories that can be built? I was actually very surprised.
Yeah.
And I'm bummed because it's blocking that mountain. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart.
Well, my last guest, actually, you might know. So his name's Keaton. He's married to Emily, who owns Elevated Physical Therapy there in Hayden. They both grew up in Jackson, and beautiful small town. He was even saying in the 80s, like the sheriff had a cowboy hat and a ivory, handled revolver, and somebody would get drunk and you kick them out of the bar and walk it off, get yourself home. Right.
Yeah.
And now it's nothing but millionaires and billionaires in Jackson, and nobody can afford to be there. And he said, I like the way that he phrased it. You can't stop development, but you can shape it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you can.
That's good.
Yeah, so I am surprised too that Post Falls allowed something like that.
Yeah.
But I think money talks a lot of the time.
Well, and who knows? I mean, with the influx of people that have come in here, I mean, Post Falls has always been the biggest growing city around here.
Yeah.
But with the influx of people, it's probably something that wasn't anticipated this quickly.
Right.
And so the law wasn't already like put into place for them to say no.
Yeah. That's a good
point. I don't
point.
know how all that works, like how quickly you can do that.
Yeah,
or not,
those changes. And
so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and then who's on city council and
and money talks.
Yeah. Yeah,
sure.
It does. Okay, so you moved up here in high school years. What was your elementary, like earliest memories, all that stuff like?
I don't know.
Okay, well, so mom and dad, siblings.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I have an older brother and a younger sister, so I am a middle child.
Smack dab in the middle.
Yes, and then in my junior high years, we basically adopted a friend of my brother's into the family, and so I call him my eldest brother. So I have two older brothers.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's I like that order of things because I have 3 boys and then we got our little girl, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna be protected the rest of her life.
Yep.
She's never gonna be allowed to date.
Yep.
This is great.
And she's gonna know how to throw a punch.
Exactly that.
She's gonna know how to handle her own too, and then she's gonna be really cocky because she's got 3 brothers to back her up. So she's gonna be like ready to fight.
Oh, she's already feisty. She's about to turn 4, and I'm like, I can't handle this little spitfire. Yeah. So I definitely get some of that from you. Like, don't mess with Renee.
I can stand my own.
Okay. So he came into the family junior. So brother, sister, age difference.
Yes. So my sister and I are 5 years apart, and then my brother and I are 3 years apart. So there's 8 years, and then my eldest brother is just 1 more year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So good, healthy gap, but you guys get along. Yeah. Do they live up here?
Some of them. So all of my immediate family basically lives within 2 hours of here.
Cool.
And then my youngest sister lives in Southern Idaho. So I actually got to see her when I was at the conference.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's good. We've always been within about 30 minutes of my wife's family.
Okay.
And then we moved over here, and then they moved to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, all the Sunday dinners and birthday parties and all that stuff. We'd all get to, and actually our house ended up being the congregating spot.
Yeah.
And
that's nice.
So weird not doing that.
Yeah.
So like Easter just passed and we aren't hosting anything.
You guys.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I miss it.
Yeah.
So yeah, within 2 hours, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's hear that. Religion. What religion were you guys? What did that look like?
Oh, like growing up?
Yeah.
I remember being raised Lutheran. We were raised Lutheran. And then there was parts where we went in and out of like Christian churches and like life type churches and stuff like that. Then we moved up here. I was a part of a Baptist church.
Okay.
And then as an adult, I just love Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so right now we go to Heart of the City.
Very
love
nice.
That church.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually a part of women's ministry and help with that and stuff too.
Yeah. Oh, and we're going to deep dive into all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, and I like that too. So that initial Lutheran influence, were you guys like every Sunday churchgoers?
Yeah, we were definitely like an American family that went to church on Sunday and ate steak and potatoes on the weekdays.
Yeah, I'm like, I used to be all meat and potatoes. That. Well, and there's a whole journey there too, because not only do you get raised that way, but then I don't know about you, but I was inundated with food pyramid and the FDA is going to protect me, right?
Yeah, but I never thought that.
No, well,
or believed that.
Okay, was that something that you just naturally had, or was that also family influenced? Were your parents?
No, I was very much independent, basically, and I grew up very young, and so I was very independent with my thinking and everything else, and I wasn't very easily influenced.
Oh, that's good.
And so, from a very young age, I did a lot of research and came to my own conclusions.
Yeah.
And so even at a very young age, I was very nutrition conscious, athletic, exercise, things like that. I was a dancer. I did track. And so I always read at that time, you don't have online stuff.
Yeah, right.
So books, magazines, things like that. And then even before I went into the medical field, I was very much into exercise, fitness, and nutrition.
Yeah.
And so I, even at probably like starting at like 20 years old, I think is when I really dug into real nutrition and health.
Yeah.
And that's when I discovered the Mediterranean diet.
Oh.
And so since about 20, the Mediterranean diet has been the base of my nutrition.
Cool.
And so it kind of pivots and moves and molds around that. Yeah. And it's still, I'm like, wow. I mean, that's still pretty much what I tell my patients for the most part.
Let's rabbit hole there for a second.
Yeah.
Why the Mediterranean diet?
Well, I read a book and it was called Mediterranean. And so he grew up, there was a guy who grew up around the Mediterranean and married an Asian wife or woman, whatever. And so he blended both of their cultures and diets together and realized they're very similar.
Yep.
Just depending on what region you're at.
Right.
And it just made sense. And so he talked about it. And then, so the first half of the book was about that. And then the second half of the book was about like how to implement it. So he had 2 weeks worth of recipes and meal planning. And so I started implementing that and realized anytime we ate, because I thought we ate pretty good. And it was like American box food, canned veggies, you know what I mean? So then once I started implementing, and at that time I was already married. So I started implementing that into our household and we were sleeping better. We had more energy. We felt better. Our skin was more clear.
Yeah.
And then anytime finances were tight, we would go back to, the comfort of knowing what you're doing.
Right. And then you feel like crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where that started.
And I love that because it's through experience, right? Like try it out and test it out and go, oh yeah, I do like noticeably feel better.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, absolutely. And then when my friends or family ask for advice or like see what we eat now, it's pretty extreme.
Oh.
And so I have to like tell them, guys, I've been doing this like moderation for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So yes, this might be a little intimidating how I cook or eat or whatever, but you got to start somewhere. So don't start here, but like start over here.
Yeah, because when we Rachel and I got married young too, it sounds like I was 19, she was 20.
Yep, I was 19 when I got married.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
it works out pretty well.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it was good.
It was good. Yeah. But I remember we were doing Bertolli's frozen dinners, and the like Bisquick would come out with these little like one-off packages that you could just get a couple biscuits out of it, and like that might have been our dinner for
Oh
4 or 5 days out of the week.
Oh my God. We did like bean and cheese burritos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like anything that can go in a tortilla was dinner.
Was good.
Yeah.
Not a bad way to operate. Yeah. But then Rachel went to work for a chiropractor who he was one of the most just naturally gifted healers that I've ever been around. And he was always popping blueberries.
Oh yeah.
And then, he would run all sorts of workshops, and he was everything but just a chiropractor. Mm-hmm. And he would introduce us to this little piece and this little piece. And so that food journey, it can be intimidating when you look at the end result. Mm-hmm. But I think everybody at some point really needs to take control of their health, and diet is such a big piece of it that if you're just, we're surrounded by fast food. You go into the grocery store, and if you're shopping in those middle aisles, or no, other way around.
No, middle aisles are bad.
The middle aisles are bad.
Yeah.
Like everything that we ingest is processed in some way, shape, or form.
It's awful.
It's terrible.
It's awful. And even the chemicals and things that they've injected in it, even from just 10 years ago, it's completely different.
Oh, yeah.
And so, we are completely surrounded by tons of toxins.
Yeah.
And so, so I'm a little extreme because I also vegetable garden.
Oh,
and we got chickens last year.
Cool.
So we've got our own eggs.
Yep.
Nobody come after me. And
we're in North Idaho. Nobody's coming after you.
And we're full. Yeah. I've already got my weekly people. So no, I don't have any extra.
Oh man, those fresh from your own chicken's eggs are amazing.
Yeah. That has been awesome. I've never had chickens before, and they have brought me so much joy.
Well, they've got these cool little personalities.
Have you had chickens before?
No, I've been around them, and we want them so bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're the best. They are the best.
How many do you have?
10.
Oh yeah.
I have 10, and I have my old dog. She's 16 this year. She's an Australian Shepherd.
Oh,
so she loves
herds
it. So she'll be out there. She just lays there, and she's all smiling, and all these chickens around her. She's like so happy.
So good.
You know?
Oh yeah, that's great. And then what do you grow? What's your vegetable
all
garden?
Things. I grow all things. So this year it's a little delayed because we got the chickens and I haven't fenced it off. Mm-hmm. So my garden space is a disaster. So I can't plant anything till I fence that off.
Yeah, because the chickens will just come in.
They're doing their job, but I need to get it fenced off.
Yeah, separate a little bit.
So we do lettuces, we do cold stuff, your brassicas. I don't do broccoli or cauliflower.
Okay.
Just because it takes a lot of effort and I haven't been super successful, and it gets a lot of bugs.
It does get a lot of bugs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I haven't done that yet, but chard, spinach, onions, garlic. I do tons of herbs because I dry them and use them during the wintertime as well. And I don't know how many times I have made herb packs and brought them to people when they're sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
it's God's medicine right there. Hello, it's right there.
Yeah. And it's so effective.
And
I think part of the problem, segue on that, but part of the problem is people don't know how to dose it. So it's this isn't effective. I'm like, well, actually the medicinal dose for tea is 3 times the amount that people actually use.
Yeah.
So one tea bag is usually a teaspoon when you're supposed to have a tablespoon, just 3 tea bags and 8 ounces of water.
Right.
Not a huge glass. And then not to mention the toxins that are coming into those tea bags.
Oh man, the microplastics and everything else.
Oh my gosh, what? We can't win.
No.
You can't win. So here I am. So this is the extreme Renee, where people the extreme part of the nutrition, right? I'm out here growing my own medicinal herbs, my tea for the winter time. I've got all my veggies, and this year I'm going to do, I didn't do it last year, but the year before I did, and it was beautiful. I do a 3 Sisters plot. Have you heard of that?
No. Oh, yeah. The beans, right?
Yes.
And some other
stuff. Corn. So you do corn and beans around it with your squash underneath.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
So I'm going to do that this year. And the beans are great for the chickens. So I'm doing extra beans because you can throw them in the freezer too.
Right.
And just give them. And then I'm going to have to do more herbs this year too, because I mix it into the chicken feed.
Yeah.
And I ran out way sooner than I thought this year with the chickens.
Oh yeah, they are little raptors. They eat everything, including each other if you aren't too careful. Yeah. The herb stuff is cool. So we were apprenticing to be herbalists.
Oh yeah.
And so we would go up. When we were on the west side. I can't speak English. Go up to her business was Julia's Good Medicine. In fact, some of the stores here still sell her product. but we got connected with her through the chiropractor.
Yeah.
And so Rachel would go do some shows with her, and then she started apprenticing with her, and then I started apprenticing with her, and we were actually going to end up taking over the business, and then she got murdered, and there's a whole story there. This sweet 70-year-old woman, I mean, like, we were supposed to go see her the next day, and we got a call from her husband. She's gone. So that's a whole other story, but
we can talk about that on your interview.
Yeah. We will put a button on that one. But it was so cool because you'd go up to her space and she'd been doing it for decades, and you go into her commercial kitchen and she has all these herbs infusing, and she would do tinctures and balms and salves and honeys. And I mean, she had something like 100, almost 200 different products. But just seeing like, oh, devil's claw, and we've got elderberry, and we've got frankincense and myrrh, which the tie into the Bible there is really cool.
Yes.
And just like being able to see it and feel it and touch it and grow it and work with them for medicinal purposes is magic.
Yeah.
And then we started to grow some of our own at our old house. And so not only did I have all your typical herbs like lavender and rosemary and all that fun jazz, but then like marshmallow, which is beautiful.
Does it grow here?
I don't know if it grew on the west side. I would assume we can grow it here because, anyways.
Yeah.
But people think marshmallow. Oh yeah, I love s'mores. No. No. Marshmallow is magic, and especially for lungs and other respiratory stuff, it's magic.
And gut.
And gut, and gut.
Yes, I grew echinacea last year.
Yeah.
Well, it took a couple years for it to actually like grow. And oh my gosh, the tea from those flowers smell fantastic.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And so I even prescribe echinacea to my patients.
Yeah.
And so not the immune side of it, because the root is used for anxiety.
Oh,
yes. So
cool.
I prescribe a capsule that's made from the root of echinacea for anxiety, whereas the leaves and the flowers are used for the immune system.
Right.
So it's fascinating, and it works.
And it works. We have probably 10 to 20 herbalist books, and being able to cross-reference and go, okay, this one for whatever reason doesn't have this particular herb, but these three do. And the different applications and how to prepare it and all that stuff. And okay, so this one says this one has this variation on the theme, and just like, it's a whole thing.
That's cool. I need to look at your books and see which ones you have.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know which ones I have a couple, but I don't know which ones to trust.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it can be a wide range of people, and some get into some crazy stuff that I'm like not into. So it's like, you don't know.
Well, and even the layout, right? Because it could just be by the herb,
right?
And then it gives you everything, or it could be, this is respiratory, here's your herbs.
I have 2 books, so one that does both.
Yeah. And then there's variations on those themes too. But.
Yeah, and at this time it was when I was in training for conventional medicine, and so that's what I lean on, because I trust that, right? Because the data, the research,
right?
It has all the stuff to
back it up. Yeah.
And so the 2 books that I have are co-written by medical doctors.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I trusted those more.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Because I don't know, also being in conventional medicine, I'm not I'm not networked with a lot of integrative and functional people that I trust.
Right.
Where I could just be like, hey, which book do you use? And just trust them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, and that's what's fascinating too, is you could be as niche down in the medical field on something, and you're the only person that practices medicine that way.
Yes.
Right. And that, like, across the board.
Yes.
And then how do you find other people within your tribe, your community, that you can lean on and go, okay, well, what have you guys been doing? This is what I've had success with. It's, well, and that's why the idea of touching on COVID for a second, I am the science.
Boo.
This is settled science. Well, that's kind of not how that works.
Yeah.
And especially when you get into how the NIH, the FDA, all that stuff is really tied into the pharmaceutical industry. And you look at during the Industrial Revolution, how the medical field switched, and the story feels very, at least what it feels like it's taught is, oh, everything was snake oil salesmen before, but then we got the medical field really dialed in, and now it's figured out. It's like, okay, all right. Yeah. And that's why, like, I had my meniscus repaired, and when I was doing the consult, the guy goes, Have you looked into doing, now I can't, it was something like, not platelets.
Peptides.
It could have been peptides, but there was another one where people get injections of, anyways, whatever it was.
Of like their platelets, the plasma-rich platelets.
Yeah, it was maybe it was something like that. Something that like Kobe Bryant or, any of these guys will go over to Germany to get these procedures done.
Stem cells?
Stem cells. Thank you. That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah. And I didn't even bring it up and he goes, "Don't do it. It's junk science." Right. Okay. Right. And I just.
Stem cells are fantastic.
Yes. And I had going through my head, he is a surgeon. He just knows how to cut. Yeah. That is his field. So why wouldn't that be the thing that he recommends, and anything that goes against it, he's not going to be for, right? Everybody's biased.
Yep.
But also everybody has that perspective for a reason. Right. And so take his advice, but also get advice from other people. And it was driving me nuts. And I'm like, it's
well, and I think as a professional, you should, especially in the medical field and somebody who's been trained in research, we understand. So I keep hitting that. Good at that.
Oh, right. Just yeah.
I get pretty like
I do too. I know. I'm like, what's the right? Yeah, just move that sucker around. Get it wherever you want it.
So keep hitting it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'll hit it no matter where it's at. So I have a doctoral degree in nursing practice. I'm a family nurse practitioner.
Yep.
And so research is part of
your jam. Yeah.
And actually, when I was debating on my degree, I was leaning towards a PhD because I am so research driven.
Yeah.
But the doctoral degree just allows me way more opportunity within practice.
Cool.
And you still get to do research and understand research.
Right.
So part of that is recognizing biases and understanding your own bias.
Yes.
And so even like another approach could have been like, I'm trained in knee surgery. This is where my background in, and this is what I know. And so I am biased to this in, X, Y, and Z. And this is why I don't recommend stem cells.
Right.
But we recognize our biases. And so I think just being open and forthfront about that is like important.
It's very important. Yeah. And this was not this guy's attitude. He was like, he was heading it off before I could even bring up the subject.
Oh, totally.
He was like, just don't do it.
Well, and what's interesting is, so I've been in the nursing field for coming up on 11 years.
Okay.
And so that's a good little segue. So I started as a CNA, so a certified nursing assistant, and worked my way up as a registered nurse. And then from registered nurse, I went to a doctoral nursing practice with family nurse practitioner. And so in that time, I was a cardiac nurse over at Sacred Heart. So I worked on the acute cardiac floor for almost 5 years. And I work hand in hand with cardiothoracic surgeons.
Yeah.
And other surgeons from the hospital. And what I saw and recognized was some of the surgeons have the idea is I am here to provide a service. It's not my job to screen them. It's not my job to know like all that other stuff. So if you as a provider refer your patient to me for surgery, I'm going to give them the surgery because that is what's recommended and that's the service I provide.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I've heard that more than once. I'm not saying that across the board.
Right. No.
There are some really good surgeons.
Of course.
And so I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then that's where the nurse practitioner also comes in. So I would work with nurse practitioners who worked hand in hand with the cardiothoracic surgeons. They screened the patients. And what's interesting is with nursing, we are trained. So even RNs and CNAs, our background is holistic care. That is the foundation of nursing. I've seen it come through depending on the school that you go to. Some are better than others.
Yeah, makes sense.
I went to a pretty good school. I went here at North Idaho College.
Yep.
At the time I was going, it was very competitive. Yep. And all the old dogs were still there. So I had a lot of good experience.
Yeah.
But holistic care is the foundation. And that's not some voodoo thing.
No.
Holistic care just means whole body. So we recognize the mental health, physical health, spiritual health, social health as like makes up the whole person. And it's important
to address
all of it. Yes. Which is the foundation of my practice. Those are the 4 pillars that I do on my practice now. But amazing. So I've seen that where the nurse practitioners in the hospital and with these surgeon teams, they try to apply that and they do recognize that. And so, and some of those surgeons I worked with were really good. And that's why they hire the nurse practitioners because we're trained to do that.
Right.
And so, and they're not.
Yeah.
But they recognize that.
Right. That's
so it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, and So our third son had a Wilms tumor when he was a year and a half old. And, we get that I mean, we took him to the pediatrician. Pediatrician says, yeah, there's something going on with his liver, but I can't figure, you need to go to the emergency room. He goes and gets all sorts of scans, and next day he's in surgery. And so like that, the speed of this craziness was just thrust on us.
Yeah.
And meeting with his subsequently, because they couldn't remove the tumor at that point, his oncologist and the surgeon and everybody else, and trying to figure out, well, what's the Western medicine oncologist going to do?
Yeah.
It's chemo, it's radiation, and there's no other answers.
Right.
And here we are going, we appreciate Western medicine for the good things that it does, but there's all sorts of other stuff that we can look at here.
Yes.
And so we scoured the country, we scoured other countries. We were trying to find anybody that would give us some alternatives, but he's peds. And like, if you're in peds in the US and you don't follow the protocol, like the next call is CPS.
Yeah. It's awful.
It's awful.
It's awful.
And so my wife was amazing. She did so much work. I'm convinced she's the reason he's still alive. We found a naturopathic oncologist out of Portland.
Oh, wonderful.
And so we'd pair the two of them up, and they'd get on calls, and he'd say, well, he needs to do 12 rounds, this dosage of this chemo. And she'd come back and say, well, according to the studies, which was right, like, let's back it up with something.
Right.
We can cut that in half, and we can cut this portion in half, and we can supplement with dandelion and with, I think
all the liver stuff,
and the amount of stuff that he was on was bonkers. But when you look at the part of the reason why they go, well, this is the protocol and this is why we do it. It used to be a 95% mortality rate up until like the 50s. And then once they introduced the chemos that they use now, it flipped. So it was a 5% mortality rate. Well, cool. A 90% improvement, we'll take it.
Yeah.
But what they don't tell you is the vast majority of those kids end up with a secondary cancer. So it moves up to the lungs or it moves up to the brain, and then you lose them. So it's like, cool. Yeah, we made it through the one, which is a torturous experience.
Right.
But then you still end up losing them.
Understanding research and how to read it.
Yes.
Right. So I learned that too. And so if you're not aware of statistics, if you're not aware of how it's written, if you're not aware of who is supplying the finances for it,
right.
Even with statistics, you can put a map or something in the document to make it look a certain way.
Yep.
Well, you can manipulate that to have as many peaks or look as flat as you want it to. And so visually, if you don't know how to read it,
right,
people, just the regular person isn't going to know.
No.
Or they could, but I mean, it's visually. And so
we're pretty easy to direct and manipulate.
Yes.
And it's stuff like that.
And then the whole statistical significance, you have to understand those ratios and statistics to really know what that means. And just because this, and then look at your study size. So it's like, okay, the study had 40 people out of Alabama. I'm like, okay, well, that's not generalizable to the whole public.
No, not at all.
And it's statistically significant, but it affected 5 people.
Right.
So it's like, you have to to be able to read it and interpret it, and then take the information to what best suits you. And yeah.
Well, and that was one of those where I really appreciated that instead of our Western medicine oncologist going, no, this is the way. He was willing to expand his thinking.
That's awesome.
The surgeon was phenomenal. And bringing it back to the RN piece, talk about holistic. Like the difference makers to me are the nurses. Right? Because the doctors are making the rounds, and that's great and everything. But the nurses are the ones that you really get to know. They're there all the time, and they care for the patient.
They do.
And for the family in especially in a situation like that.
Yeah.
So sorry for that little dovetail, but I had to, give a round of applause to the nurses.
Well, it's interesting too, though. There is a shift. I'm seeing some things happen. So when I was an RN, I also did vitamin and infusions for a wellness place. And I did high dose vitamin infusions for cancer patients and like autoimmune.
Yeah.
And some of them were seeing an oncologist, and we would get approval from their oncologist to go even higher.
Right.
So some of them are okay with it. And
Totally.
It's vitamin C.
Right.
So might as well just do it.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
Yeah. And then we also did hyperbaric chamber. Did your son do hyperbaric chamber?
We did both the vitamin C infusions and hyperbaric.
Yep. Yeah.
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 And that's
Have you sat in it? Did you sit in it with him?
No, my wife did.
Okay.
That's one of those things that's on my list of.
Yeah, you need to do it. I want to get one in the clinic as soon as possible.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Oh, I want to.
Yeah.
So my goal with the clinic is to have a hyperbaric chamber, and I want sauna with far infrared.
Oh yeah,
those are my two big things that
and the longevity statistics on using sauna regularly especially with the red light. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've heard amazing things about the hyperbaric too. So you get all of that.
Yeah. So soon as I can, I want to get that. I'm excited.
It's on do you have anything else beyond that? Because I mean, those are like the next, let's get those in there.
Yeah.
Do you have any other things?
No. Like with the clinic, with the practice or what? No, because this isn't my thing. This isn't this isn't my baby. This isn't my clinic. This is all God's.
Oh, that's well said.
Yes. This is God-led 100%.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And part of that, I don't know if other people have this experience. I'm sure they do. But God knows me very well.
Yeah.
And so,
does.
So he doesn't tell me too far in advance of what is to come.
Yeah.
Because I am very much a planner, and I am 100%, like if I'm in, I'm 100% in.
Yeah.
And I am ready to go for it. And so I will bypass that process.
Yeah.
To get to that end point. And I don't always know what that process looks like or what I'm supposed to go through or grow or whatever. And so I will quickly go through that to get to the end goal.
Yeah.
And so knowing that about myself, I'm pretty sure that's why God doesn't always tell me what's happening.
Well, he knows the beginning from the end, and we certainly don't.
Yeah. Because he's like, no. And he does with some things, like he has promised me some things. And so I'm holding on to those promises.
Yeah.
But with like the clinic, he's like,
no,
we're just one step at a time.
Some patience here and just let it unfold as it unfolds.
Yes.
I love that.
So that's what he's doing with me right now. And the biggest thing too, I know why you're laughing. It's so, because
I do. Well, and as I was getting ready today, for some reason I had Garth Brooks. Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, because we have that, like, this is what I want. This is the thing that I'm going to get.
Yes.
And especially when you are praying for it and then you don't get it and you're like, why didn't I get it? This was a good thing. This was something that would have benefited people or whatever it was. This was a good ask. Yeah. You don't know what the plans are.
No.
You're along for the ride.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And God's showing me too that, so I've just through my past life experiences, like I told you, I had to grow up very young.
Yeah.
And so I've always had backup plans. Renee always had to have plan B, C, D in case anything went wrong.
Yep,
whatever,
you could escape over and
exactly
move on to the next.
And so with the clinic, I don't have any of that. And God made it very clear, and through some of my mentors and stuff too that are part of my life, they're like, no, baby girl, like this, God is plan A.
Yeah.
And plan B and plan C. There is no other plan.
Yep.
And so that is something personally I'm working on too, is just that constant surrender.
Yeah.
And having complete faith. And what he has definitely showed me too is, and he showed me this throughout nurse practitioner school as well, is that how you're going to practice and what you're going to do is not going to look what the world thinks it's going to look like.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's hard.
It's hard. Well, because
it's hard.
So much of what we do throughout life is we have something modeled for us and it looks good. And so we go down that path. And when you don't have something that's been modeled for you, it's kind of scary.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that goes into that too, is like in our area, there's not a lot of people that are doing what I'm doing.
No.
And there's a lot of people, not like in the niche that I'm doing.
Right.
Right. So my clinic is holistic and unafraid health optimization for men. I do health optimization for men. And yes, there are other good providers in this area that do that, but they might be like a family practice. So they're seeing all spectrums. There might be somebody who does fertility, and so they just do fertility, or there might be naturopaths and they see the whole family, or there's hormone clinics, so they just do hormones.
Right.
But I'm not finding somebody who just has a clinic for men that does the whole thing.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I'm doing. And to kind of tie back to like the worldly view of things, like my clinic isn't going to look what others are doing. That's why I struggle so much with social media. Because that's such a worldly thing to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But then we can go back to, what is it? The story of Daniel, how he was in the world, but not of the world.
Yeah. It's a great example.
So I'm like trying to navigate that too. Like, okay, like, no, so I can't, if I don't do these things, the clinic can't expand to do what God wants it to do.
Right.
Because this is what we use in this world right now.
Yeah.
And so it's also navigating, okay, well, I'm going to do social media, but it's not going to look the way the world thinks it's going to look.
Yeah. Well, and that's how you change the world.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't do what's been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want God in all of it. And I want that to be obvious.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool.
Thank you.
Okay. So how did you get to that point? So you're going through school.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get this aha? Where does this?
You know, it actually started from the very beginning of nursing.
It did?
Yes.
Okay.
So I actually never wanted to be a nurse. It's still not my thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that fascinating? Is that awful?
No, well, if it
my
involves...
patients are probably like, really, I'm seeing a doctor who doesn't want to do this. Great.
Well, I think of nurses, and of course I'm thinking in a hospital, and I'm like, bedpans. Nope, I'm out.
Oh, you don't even want to know.
No, I don't.
Don't even want to know the things that I have done. Okay. No.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah. Oh my gosh. So that comes back. Okay. Our experiences as nurses. That's why when you have a nurse in the family, we're all like, it's not an emergency unless somebody's legs cut off and they're bleeding out, okay?
Right.
Because you have no idea the things that we have done or seen. And I've seen people survive. And we're
just give a nurse a hug if you see them. They've seen some stuff.
Oh, yeah. And most of our answer is always like, well, did you drink enough water? It's always water.
Speaking of.
My stomach hurts. Well, did you drink enough water? I can't go to the bathroom. Did you drink enough water? I feel like crap.
I'm feeling lightheaded.
Did you drink enough water?
Yeah.
But anyways, okay, so going back. So I didn't start nursing till later.
Okay.
And my love is actually art. A lot of people don't know that about me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm an artist, and I've actually had artwork in a gallery before.
Oh my gosh.
I never got to the point to make money from it.
Yeah.
But
it's your passion.
It is.
What's your medium?
I love it. I do. Oh, I'm getting into oil paint is actually my foundation.
Yeah.
And I've painted and have drawn since I was about 10 years old.
Cool.
Yeah. And so the pieces that I had in a gallery were actually a mixed medium.
Ah.
And I did spray paint and oil paint, and it was a mixed
Fun.
thing. Yeah. It was
you're going to have to show me some of this stuff later, right?
I will.
Okay.
Show you.
Yeah.
And so, but right now I'm actually getting into watercolor.
Oh, yeah.
I've never
which
done
is
watercolor
also beautiful.
before. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So art has always been my first love. And actually my first degree was an art degree, and I was going for interior design.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But then the housing market of 2008 happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, not going to go do
Not a lot of
interior
people
design.
that need their now repossessed homes designed.
Yeah. And I was living here in the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm going to do interior design, I'm going to have to move out of the state to a bigger city that can support this career.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to. I grew to love it here.
It's, I tell everybody this is the Garden of Eden.
I love it here.
And the cherubim and a flaming sword is Spokane.
Well, if these people don't keep ruining it and putting buildings up in front of our mountains.
Yeah, exactly. That. Yeah.
So, so I switched my associate's degree of art to a business degree and then stopped.
Okay.
And just like, okay, well, I'm not going to waste my time and money going to school if I don't know. We're going to pivot, whatever. Well, I was working retail at the time, and I was very good at retail. So I actually was an assistant manager for Forever 21 for a handful of years.
Yep.
Well, retail's the devil.
Yeah. Everybody needs to experience it. It gives you a lot of humility and helps you work with other people and appreciation and all that fun jazz. But it is
awful.
It's hell.
It's awful.
Yeah. Yep.
So
because a lot of people are awful.
It is awful. And like, it's so funny because I was never that person. And so being at Forever 21, like, I'm an art person. I dressed kind of like a hippie, super eclectic at that time. I was 19. I'm super independent. Like I told you, I don't really influenced by other people. So I wore whatever I wanted to like a high fashion place. And those type of people that work there, like not my people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not my people. Mm-mm. And so like, I just like, really this is what's important to you? And people freak out about their clothes or what? I'm like, this is so stupid. I used to get in so much
Renee's
trouble.
in the wrong environment.
Totally. My manager, I was assistant manager, and people there would ask me questions, and I would just look at them because I didn't know how to respond. And I'd be like, really? And I'd just walk away. Because I'm like, I don't know how to respond to this without being like, I just don't know. And then keep my job. So my manager used to call me and be like, Renee, you can't talk to the employees like that. I'm all like, well, it's better than what I wanted to say.
This is me actually keeping the peace. You should be grateful.
I'm like, I can't believe you're asking me this question. Realized that my husband's like, you need to find a different job.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. So I started searching Craigslist when Craigslist was the thing.
My gosh. That's how I found my band, by the way. It was Craigslist. There's a
band?
lot of magic there.
What?
Oh, yeah. We'll put a pin on that one.
Pin on that one for your interview. Are you going to let me do it?
I have. So you and another lady. There's two. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just have you two.
Rochambeau?
Yeah.
Or we can both do it. That'd be fun.
That would be fun too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious.
Is she fun like me?
Yes.
Okay.
We were just like this. We were laughing the entire time during her episode.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, that'll be great. Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. No.
Pin.
I mean,
there's a reason why we're being graced by my drum set.
Oh, that's yours.
Yeah, my son's co-opted it.
Okay.
And he's a little turd because he's better than I am after.
So Craigslist band.
So you're searching Craigslist.
Yeah. This is about me, not you.
Yeah, it's not about me. I'm not the main character here. You're the main character. Jeez.
Taken away from me. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Craigslist. So I'm looking to see, okay, what's really needed in the career field right now and something that interests me.
It's a smart way to look at it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, CNA kept coming up. So I'm like, okay, I hate science.
Even with the research brain going on?
Okay, I'll get to that.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
I wasn't research brain then. I was art brain.
Yes. Which is very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
Very different. So, to the point to where my first degree, I picked the least sciencey classes. I did astronomy and geology. So I did stars and rocks.
Yeah.
Because it's the least science.
Totally.
Yeah. Hated science. And needles and medicine, not my thing at all.
No.
I knew for sure never going to do that.
Yeah.
God's like,
yeah, you think you know what the plan is.
Yeah. Don't ever say never. That's the take home note there.
Yeah, it's the kiss of death. Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, well, this is a quick certification. It's a few months. It's super cheap. If I hate it, it's still
not a big investment
thing to have in my pocket.
Yeah.
Because it's needed. So I did the classwork and something switched in me and I could feel it and I knew it was God. And I'm like, oh, he started shifting this compassion in me for people and caring for people and being very interested in the science part. I saw this shift in me.
Cool.
And I knew it was God driven the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then with my CNA, my first CNA job was actually in mental health. And so, yeah. And so I oversaw the most patients I had at once was 70 patients. I was the CNA under 3 nurses. And so I basically assisted the nurses.
Okay.
And it was a residential for young adults and adolescents.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
And probably really eye-opening.
It was. I learned a lot. And so then I decided, okay, through those nurses that were mentoring me, I'm going to nursing school. Yeah. And I applied at NIC and got right in. Everything through my nursing thing, I got right in. And I'm like, okay.
That's a sign right there.
It is. And I prayed about it and I went to challenging schools.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so it's fascinating. So even at NIC at the time, it was normal that about 50% of your cohort would fail.
Yeah.
And so it was just so bizarre because and school's never been hard for me. I've always liked school. I've always been very good at school. I mean, I was in college when I was in high school. Yep. So I got my degree a year out of high school, my first one.
That's a good way to say it.
I always liked it. It was easy.
Yeah.
And so, but nursing school was not easy.
No.
And it was humbling because I had to be okay with B's. And that was okay. I even got some C's on my exams, but that's okay.
Yep.
But what was fascinating is everybody was so terrified of failing. I never had that fear. And people always ask me, they're like, well, why aren't you afraid? I'm all, because I didn't want to do this. Like, I fought God on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is no way. I'm an art person. This is not, no. He's like, no, it was very clear. This is what you're doing.
I love the trust that you have in God.
Thank you.
That is it's a superpower, because that's a gift.
Well, and it's not in every aspect. I definitely struggle. Yeah. I struggle. And it's easy with nursing because he's done it and I've seen it.
Yeah.
So it's like, which is interesting why our brain like puts things in pockets.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how do I 100% trust God in my nursing life?
But then
not
over
here.
Right.
Like, but so it's fascinating. So throughout nursing school, people would freak out and I'm like, no, I'm not worried about it. This isn't my thing. This is God's thing. As long as I put in all the effort and go 100%, he's going to meet me and it's going to happen. And I'm going to pass and I'm going to do it. I had no fear of failing. And I actually ended up being the president of the Idaho State Nursing Association, which professor tricked me into doing. Because here I am, like super like on top Renee, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do all this. I just want to focus on this. I want to slide under the radar.
Right.
Because even at that time, I started noticing I don't believe in the things that conventional medicine does.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have to kind of be cautious.
Right.
To pass. So it's finding that line of when to speak up, when to hold back,
right?
Because I'm not one to not say something just because people are telling me not to, or it goes against the grain.
Right.
But then this is the goal that God wants me to do. So that's a challenge.
There's a line and being honest with yourself and with others. And And
this was a very different part of my Christian walk too. Yes, I knew God. Yes, I trusted God. But I didn't understand the Holy Spirit and what he sounds like to me.
Oh, cool.
So I didn't know that at that time.
Yeah. And that's also a muscle that you have to exercise to go, okay, I've recognized this now enough times that.
Yeah. So like at that time I knew it was God, but like looking back and the relationship I have now with Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have that intimate relationship then.
Right.
So yeah. So that was a challenge. But so backtrack. So I became the president of the Idaho State Nursing Association. Yes. So I told my professor, she's like, this position's going to open. I want you to do it. I'm like, no, like I have enough on my plate. Like, I don't want to do this.
No. Yeah. And being a president sounds like there's some work involved.
There's a lot, right? Yeah. So while I'm in clinical, I get a text message from my professor. She's like, I nominated you on the board. I'm like, cool.
Thanks.
So I can't do anything. I'm in clinical. Votes were that day and like the next morning. So I'm like, cool. Thanks, Jane Edwards.
You were set
If you
up.
I love her. She's one of my mentors too. Like, I was totally set up. I got it. The whole class voted for me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So here's Renee, and my husband will laugh so much because this is what I do in life. And he's like, he knows I'm going to do these things. And I'll be like, I'm not doing this. He'd be like, okay. See ya when you go do those things, Okay, so it gets better. So then I lead because I have a board under me. So I lead it.
Yeah.
I do a nursing student convention, one of the first at NIC, and raised over $4,000.
Oh my gosh.
I had guest speakers. I had breakout sessions.
You're like made for this.
I know. I didn't think that. When you're in it, you're just doing the things.
Right. Yeah.
You're just whatever. And so I did. I raised over $4,000. We were able to pay for 3 of us to go to the state conference. So me and my VP and like the secretary went to state conference. All the rest went to student scholarships for nursing.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
And then my husband's like over here, like no surprise. He's like shocked.
Yeah. It sounds like you have a very supportive husband.
Oh, yes. So Daniel has been my rock through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. So he has supported me throughout my whole nursing career. So even as a nurse, so I've always worked full time, very independent, but in nursing school, I couldn't do it. And it was one of those things, and I've seen this time and time again with nurses and in nursing school, you always sacrifice something.
Yep.
And so my husband was able to support us financially. We did get a roommate to help us with that. Yeah. But I went down to like PRN at the hospital. I worked maybe 1 to 2 days a week. I was at the respiratory hospital in Post Falls at that time. because I couldn't do it.
Oh.
I was studying and like it was a 2-year program. You're in clinics, you're studying.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And so it was like.
Well, and you're even at that point, you're sacrificing, we were going to go on a hike today. Do you even have the energy? You got to study. I mean.
And so for us, it wasn't worth sacrificing our marriage. Like there's always a sacrifice.
Yep.
We didn't have
That's not going on the altar.
Yeah. And so I couldn't work. And so my husband supported me through that. And that's the story too with my doctorate. I thought I would be able to work because all my people worked. They all had full-time jobs. They did 312s at the hospital. They did all the stuff. And my husband's like, "You okay, honey?" He's so kind.
Oh.
Because I'm very stubborn.
That doesn't come across at all.
No. And so, I've become better and more receptive as I age and learn. But yeah, so he's like, "Okay, honey." Then like within a year, I'm like crying. He's like, "I know."
Yeah.
So even
he sounds like a saint.
He's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so he supported me through grad school too. So, and that was a breeze to get in as well. Like I was shocked. So I'm working at the hospital. I took like a summer off. Then I went. I just got an associate's degree at NIC.
Okay.
Then I get my bachelor's degree at Boise State. That's just all online.
Yeah.
It's easy peasy, whatever.
Easy peasy.
Well, yeah.
There's people that are listening to this going, I'm going, and we have a friend that's going through right now, and she's at NIC, and she is. You have to be like top 20% of the class or something to be able to pass.
Yeah.
Whatever she's doing.
Yeah.
And so she's like top of the class.
Yeah.
But the amount that I've seen her sacrifice.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So it was easy peasy.
Well, your bachelor's. So once you get your associates, you learn all the nursing stuff, which is hard.
Yeah.
To go back to get your bachelor's, it's writing papers.
Okay.
It's like, it's administration.
Yeah.
It's like, it's honestly bullcrap job, like classes.
Right.
I'm like, okay, cool. Right. This did nothing for me.
This is how I get this paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes. So the last class that I had to take, it prepares you for, okay, what's the next steps? So it talks about PhD and doctorate and all these things.
Right.
And so at that time I was on the cardiac unit at Sacred Heart. And so I had to interview like 3 different advanced nurse practitioners.
Yeah.
And it was through that process, all of them wanted me to go be a nurse practitioner.
Oh.
And they supported me.
What was that? Did they see something in you? Had they had experience that said, yes, you should do this because it's better then, or?
Yes.
All of the above.
All of the above. So I worked with a lot of nurse practitioners on the cardiothoracic unit, and they saw that in me because I actually, I learned very quickly and I was very much trusted with them. I had their personal cell phones and I can just call them and they would be like, "Hey, Renee, like what's going on?" I would tell them and they would basically give me what I wanted. So yeah, and that's not to like tout whatever, but it's that I knew what I was doing.
Right.
And there was something within me that was different.
Yep.
So, you have that forethought to think ahead, to like relate to people. And, so they saw that in me, and I would even go in there and like assist with like chest tube removals and sutures, and they would ask me to come in there and help them, and things like that.
Yeah, because not only are you knowledgeable, but you know how to work with the patient, good bedside manner, all those sorts of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like for one instance, there was a patient that was circling the drain. It wasn't even my patient, but I walked by and asked if anybody needed help or to check in. I actually had a student at that time. And the nurse practitioner, it was one of his patients. He actually looked at me and he pulled me in the room. He's like, "I need you to stay by this patient and calm them down while we go to the ICU." Not even my patient.
Yeah.
So it was like things like that.
Right.
That they would be like, "Nope, I want Renee."
Yeah.
And so they saw that. And so 2 of them actually wrote my letter into grad school.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I started talking to Daniel about it and praying about it. And I'm like, I just finished my bachelor's. I am exhausted with school.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Break.
I am done.
Yeah.
Like,
breathe.
I don't want to. And so we prayed about it. And I'm like, you know what? I think I need to do this. My husband's like, you're going to do it. Because get this. Even in nursing school, I brought in guest speakers from 3 surrounding universities that talked about PhD and DMP and what the next steps are.
Yeah.
Like God put this, and I already knew at that time I was going to be a DMP. Just not, in my brain, it was like, when I'm like
At
50,
some point.
I'd retire and teach.
Right.
That was in my brain.
Yeah.
No.
Nope. We're doing it now.
Nope. So Daniel, my husband, knowing this about me, he's all like, you are a forever schooler type person.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I think you should do it. Like, why wait? Let's just do it now.
I love that attitude. That's amazing.
The mottos are very much, we rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. Why not?
We're just going to do it.
Yeah.
So I prayed about it. I'm like, okay, if I get in, like, this is it. And I told God, please, I don't want to get in. Like, I need
if I don't get in, I'm
off.
taking this as the sign. I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need a break. No. I wrote a paper, applied like within 5 days of the deadline because this whole decision was made like last minute. I wasn't even considering it. So I applied, wrote this paper. It was the best interview I have ever had.
Cool.
It was natural. It was great. It was
Felt good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what the DMP program was really.
Right.
Like they're like, well, what have you thought about your research and what your doctorate like paper is going to be? I'm like, what the frick is a doctorate paper?
Wait, I have
There's
to do
a
that.
paper. You know what I mean? I'm like,
put a button on that because I want to know what it was, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. We'll talk about it. So I'm all like, no. And they're like, I'm like, no, what is it?
Yeah.
So they like tell me and I'm like, oh, and I like blurt out. I'm like, I already have 2 ideas of research that I've been wanting to do.
Right.
And so I'm like, and they're like, that's fantastic. I'm like, okay, cool.
That's so good.
Then I find out that, so in my program, so I got accepted to Idaho State University for my doctoral degree.
Yeah.
And they only accept 16 people
for
that. And they do the whole country.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit of competition.
Yeah. And I'm like, just slid, like it was
and
nothing.
That is,
I'm like,
I mean,
what?
God directed.
Oh,
that is the only
100%
explanation.
100%. And I asked like our admin person who's not supposed to tell us, but like how many people they usually interview and things. He's like, I can't tell you how many we interviewed for this cohort, but we typically interview anywhere from like 40 to 80 people.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay.
That's wild.
Slid
right in.
This is all during the pandemic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yep.
Then, and that was the hardest time for me in my career. It was horrific. Because I was on the cardiac unit and the cardiothoracic team was making room for me in their office for a nurse practitioner position.
Right.
Once I got in, they were like so supportive and on board and supporting
That's
me
so
to do
cool.
this. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So cool. But Washington during a pandemic.
Yep. I was on the west side.
Yeah.
Very different than North Idaho.
Very different. And I did not keep quiet.
Good.
At all.
Good.
So that was I even went on social media and talked about the contract they were asking us to sign and told people, read your contract.
Yeah.
Because I did not sign it. I refused to sign it.
Good.
Because it had
and that's
really
the sort of stuff
bad
that could have gotten you kicked out or
lose my license.
Yeah.
No, I could have lost my license off the contract they were having us sign.
Yeah.
So I refused.
Good.
And yeah.
That's so brave.
It was loud. You know what's interesting? Thank you. It's interesting. These things happen. The people you think are going to stand up don't. And the ones that do, you're surprised.
Very much so. I remember walking into church and I was like, okay, so I built ARs with that guy. And I know I've had really deep conversations with these guys about politics and health and all these other things. And so I'm going to walk in and once you could go back to church. Yeah. Right. Because what did they label it? It wasn't necessary. That's not the right terminology. Because they had some businesses that were essential versus non-essential. Essential. Right. Church is non-essential.
Okay.
What?
It's in the Constitution.
Yes. And so I remember when we could go back and I walk in and I don't have a mask on and everybody else does. And they all turn and look at me. I'm like, what did I just walk into? You are you are my people that I'm supposed to feel comfortable around. Yeah. And we're on the same mission here. Yep. And I'm the odd guy out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard.
It's very hard. I would wear a mask in the hospital. I mean, that's my job.
Right.
I mean, flu season when we wear a mask.
Of course.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Was it bull crap? Absolutely.
Right.
Because I don't want to go down all that.
We could.
That could be 3 hours in itself.
Yes, it could.
Anyways, good to say, I was kicked out of businesses. I had security called on me multiple times. Like I was not backing down. I did not wear a mask.
That.
Yes. So I was not messing around.
And so wait, why were you? Oh, because you're working in Spokane at that point.
I was working in Spokane, but I lived here.
Right.
I only went to Washington to work.
Just to work.
It was my dream job. Right out of nursing school, I got onto the cardiac unit and took oh my gosh, what is that called? Internship.
Oh yeah.
So I loved it.
Yeah.
It was my ultimate dream was to be a flight nurse. So that was my path to flight nurse. I loved it.
Cool.
I loved it. So it was very heartbreaking to me when I left.
Yep. And is that what ultimately led to you leaving? Was some of the pandemic stuff?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because it was either you signed the contract.
So it made you did have to. Oh.
So you would get escorted out.
Yep.
And so that's what I chose. But actually, I just lingered on and played them. I mean, probably wasn't the best thing. I don't know, but they didn't care about us. So I gave my 2-week notice to the 2 weeks to the day that we were supposed to be walked out.
Amazing.
And I was one of 4 charge nurses. So they were losing a charge nurse. A lot of people left. And they lost all their old dogs because they took retirement early.
Of course they did.
So you have all these newbies in there. Like
the
I was
followers.
One of the most, that too, from Washington. I was one of the more experienced nurses at 4 years experience. That's nothing.
Wild.
Yes.
And kind of scares me.
And there was only a handful above me that I would go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't know that. And you should have seen the stuff that like Washington, what they were doing to train their nurses. I would get nursing students. I don't know how it happened. My name got out with the nursing schools.
Yeah.
And students would come and ask for me.
Oh man.
By name.
And
some days it's
Renee.
fine. Some days you're all like, oh my God, my brain cannot take another student today.
Right.
But I would get students that would be like, okay, you need to start an IV. Like, what are the skills you need? And they're like, well, I need to start an IV. I'm like, okay, well, have you done this in class? No, we watched a YouTube video.
Oh no.
I'm like, okay. And this is probably why my name got out there. I would take them to the supply room and we would pull out supplies and we would play with the supplies.
Cool.
I never let them start an IV on me though, because I am not a needle person actually.
I'm not either.
I can do it on other people very good.
Yeah.
Can't do it to myself.
Okay, good.
So, but I would bring out supplies.
Me feel better.
Yeah. And like show them and let them play with They've never even done any of that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh.
So in my mind, which I never told them, I'm like, you are not touching my patient.
No. Well,
I love you and you got to learn, but not on my patient. That's on a cardiac unit.
I've had way too many needle experiences, and you can tell, right? Because for my Eagle project, it was a blood drive, and then we went and toured the facility in Seattle, and the number of times I've either given blood or had my blood drawn or had something, and as soon as whoever's going to be pulling starts to do the process, I'm like, oh, this is going to be, and I've got big, juicy, beautiful veins. And I'm like, this is going to be terrible. I'm not going to enjoy this experience.
No.
Versus the other ones where they're so cool and calm and collected and go through it. And you're like, oh, this is going to be great.
Oh, no. My body feels like my soul is being sucked out of me.
Yeah.
If you take blood, like I can feel it. And I'll like, and I get pale. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing for me. I'm like, I might pass out. I'm like, what?
I'll do it to others. Just don't do it to me.
Yeah. And then even like the last time I got blood, I did the order. I ordered my own stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a lot. She's all like, thank your doctor. I'm the doctor. That's me. Just do it.
You go to the mirror. Thanks, you.
Thanks, you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So from there, I actually took a traveling nurse position.
Oh, yeah. Smart.
And did COVID and stuff down south, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then from then on out, I just did part-time.
Okay.
With grad school.
Yep.
And so, and I did infusions, I did vitamin infusions. I worked for Hospice for, I think, a year, maybe 2 years.
Oh, that had to be interesting.
I love Hospice.
Do you?
Yes.
Why?
Oh, it is the best job ever. The best. I know.
I need some explanation here.
The whole, like, just the whole environment around hospice, just like one in your workplace, because people slow down.
Yeah.
And they realize what's important.
Oh, yeah.
So if you personally need time, you've got it. If you need spiritual help, they have spiritual people there to help you.
Yeah.
And you go through all this training. You learn how to communicate with families. Like, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is so awesome. Everybody loves each other. Everybody's gracious with each other.
Yeah.
We do, we try to get together monthly or every other month to do, I hosted a paint night one time for all of us.
That's so fun.
Just to have fun and to release some of the stuff that we carry.
Well, and
So
that's
it's
the piece that
wonderful.
would make me think that it would be hard.
Well, and for me, it's not. So this is also a God thing. It's such a blessing. I have always been a nurse who, when I left, it was gone.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple of people I remember. I remember my first, as a CNA, the first postmortem care I've done.
Yeah.
I took care of somebody after they passed.
Right.
I remember that patient. Things like that, one-offs I'll remember.
Right.
But other than that, I would come to work the next week and people would be like, do you remember so-and-so in this room? I'm like, no.
Nope. Yeah.
Onward and upward.
Oh.
So I never hold on to any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like that with hospice too.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. It's beautiful.
Well, and I love the way that you were describing that, because not only are you that closeness with your coworkers,
yeah,
but then to me, there's the veil is thin.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
It's so cool. And what's great is you get to be a part of somebody's, a very important time in somebody's life.
Right.
And you get to do whatever they want.
That's amazing.
Whatever they want.
Yeah.
There's no trying to get better. There's no all these treatments. There's not all these procedures. There's not all this stress.
Right.
I just get to make you as happy and as comfortable as you want to be with no limitations.
Well, and I like how you said everything slows down, because I feel like in life we're so go, 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 go. What's the next thing? Where are we going?
Yes.
You're at the end.
Yeah.
You get to slow down.
You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So it's if somebody's dream is to drive in their car one last time, we try and make that happen.
That's amazing.
Yeah. If somebody wants to, I remember sitting on the front patio with a guy for an hour, just swinging on his swing. And I got paid to do that.
Oh, and that had to be such a sweet moment
it's
too.
It's wonderful. We talked about his wife and his children and it's freaking, you get paid to do that.
Well, and people fundamentally want to be seen and heard.
Yes.
And that's what you're providing at that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of it too is that the family is so appreciative.
Oh, yeah.
So appreciative. And you don't get that a lot in the hospital setting.
Nope.
People are very rude. I don't know what it is. When people get admitted to the hospital, they are awful. And
you're still in retail.
Yes, but worse. Because they do things that you're all like, what justifies this behavior right now?
Right.
Just even common, I don't know, etiquette and body behaviors. If you're in the hospital, nobody covers their mouth when they cough or they sneeze.
Yeah, what's that all about?
They just sneeze all over you. I'm like, if you were in the grocery store, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, we're not immune just because we're in the hospital.
What? No, it's the most dirtiest place you can
right,
be.
It really is.
I'm like, what? I'm like, what makes you think you can behave this way? It's so bizarre. So in hospice, the family's just, if the family's involved,
right,
they're always usually so kind and so loving. And then when you come in, you also get to give them some reprieve.
Yeah.
And so you support the family a lot too.
Right.
And they are going through a lot of grief, a lot of guilt, a lot of all this stuff. And so you get to be there with them. And so it's almost as if you're a part of their family.
Well, and did you remind me that you started with psychology?
So actually, my first CNA job was in mental health.
Yeah. So there's a tie in there too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very interesting. And so they're just so loving and appreciative, and you don't get that elsewhere.
No.
And it's also so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I was only part-time being in nursing school. So I wasn't there all the time, but all of my experiences, most of my patients passed in peace. And it's very interesting because you can tell the people who have a relationship with God versus not.
Oh, yeah.
And what's great about hospice is most people in hospice that I have come across are Christians.
Ah.
And so whether these people realize it at the season of their life or even families, they are surrounded by God's people.
Right.
And there's something beautiful about that. And you see it. And so it's just so neat to be a part of.
And it lingers. Rachel, on, what is that, between 4th and 3rd, it used to be a hospice care facility. Yeah. And now it's a birthing center. And then there's another little unit on there. Rachel was renting a space in there. And it was the piece in there. Like it had to be a carryover from that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty neat.
It is. Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So I love that. I even spoke to my manager and asked for a full-time position out of MP school.
Oh.
Like I would take it.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of competition here for a hospice.
Oh.
And you need like X amount of patients on your patient panel to bring on a nurse practitioner.
Got it.
Because it's Medicare based.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So there's a lot of things that MP can't do.
Right.
We're underneath the medical doctor. And so that they just didn't have the patients.
Yeah.
Which that was an answer.
That was an answer.
God was like, no.
Yeah. No. As much as you would love this, you've had your season of it, at least for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something else.
Yeah. I don't even know how we got on that. But
hospice.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my experience with hospice.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So that was, you were doing the COVID stuff.
Yep.
Left Spokane, went and did the hospice stuff. And then, so you get.
I also did infusions at that time.
Oh, right.
Too.
And
I
infusions.
did home infusions, like vitamin. I had like 3 jobs actually. I know. Oh my gosh. Like, how did I? But they were
Can we just say it again
part-time.
that Daniel is a saint?
Okay. But when we went into doctorate school, we had a serious conversation. And it was, and this ties back to like people that I saw without nursing school, the sacrifices.
Right.
So people who worked full time, either their children were sacrificed or their husbands were. And I think that that's a big part of why you look at the percentage, and I don't know what it is now, but it was like 50% of couples get divorced in nursing school.
Really?
Yes. And then if you go up to doctoral school, and it's not just nursing, but doctoral school, it's like 80%.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. It's high.
Well, did you guys know this?
Yes.
And Daniel's over here just saying, you're going to do it.
Well, we've been through a lot worse things.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So Daniel and I, we got married young. Daniel and I have been married now for 16 years. So,
nice.
I mean, we've had our fair share of marriage and struggles.
Yeah.
So it's like, and given both of our backgrounds and just whatever.
This is nothing.
We got this.
Yeah. Isn't that such a cool, I don't know if secure is the right spot, but just experienced thing to be coming from.
Yeah.
Perspective to be coming from.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like, and we were at a spot where we've done so much growth within our marriage that now we could recognize. Because the first time I did nursing school, we didn't recognize all these things. Well, this is our second go around. Right. So we have that experience. And so we had that serious conversation. Okay, what are the things we're sacrificing and what's not? And so we just agreed, like Daniel would support us financially and his focus was work, which meant my focus was the house. Yeah. So then he didn't have to worry about any of that. So I did the house and I did school. Yeah. And that was what we did. Yeah. And it worked out beautifully. And then I worked when I could. And I actually did have 3 jobs. But it was, I had like, I would do 1 infusion a week. Right. Which was 4
Tuesday's going to be busy. I'm
hours.
going and doing this infusion. Then I'm going to be over here on Thursday.
Yeah. And then like hospice would call me like to do an admission when they got one. And so if I could, I would do it kind of a thing. And even with doing infusions, it was usually rural. So I drove, which meant I listened to lecture in my car drive. Yeah. So it wasn't like a huge compromise. Right. You know? That's cool. Yeah. And then I also did infusion, like vitamin infusions for a wellness place, which was rare. It was like when the other nurse couldn't be there. Right. And so. Yeah.
So you don't have a 9 to 5 that.
No, it was like, I worked 3 jobs, but I worked maybe 2 to 4 hours a week.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like,
that's cool.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
You know, and so, where are we at now with my story?
So hospice, and then, so where does that take you? And
infusion, so then I graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe this is a good, what was your
doctoral work?
Yeah.
So I did 3 years on stress.
Oh.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So so this is where research brain Renee gets into. So even as a nurse, right, I did so much research during the pandemic. Like that was my biggest thing. I didn't focus on what the media was telling us. I went to the basics. I'm like, I went to all the research about vaccines in general. How long does it take to create a vaccine?
Oh man,
what is
that's
the
a rabbit
standard
hole.
for vaccines, right? So I would bring this information to people. I wouldn't even address the COVID vaccine.
Right.
I would be like, you guys, the science from year after year, this is the protocol and they're not following it.
Nope.
Or I'd be like, they've been trying to get a vaccine for SARS-CoV-2, what is it?
SARS-CoV-2?
Not COVID-2, but the SARS virus.
Right.
Since the 80s without success.
Yep.
Here's the research.
Yep.
You know.
Oh, and by the way, we're using a new technology, mRNA, and that's what have we tested with that?
Not to mention that the Moderna means modified RNA. What? Hello, like it's right in front of your face, people. But okay, anyways. So, and then I dug into like research, like my husband is in construction, so he knows all about OSHA.
Yeah.
So he called bull crap on all the mask stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I dug into the research on particles and mask size, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't even do what was out here. I went like, where's the foundation?
Right. Yeah.
And So research brain. So I've already
But you're fighting against the media and the government and everybody else that's like, it was so maddening.
It was crazy. And I couldn't believe it.
No.
I couldn't believe it because it was very much like we all took the same biology classes.
Right.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how you don't understand or like what?
It's
just fear.
It's fear. And I mentioned this in a previous podcast, but I just learned, I didn't just learn, I've heard this a couple times. 50% of people don't have an internal dialogue. And to me, that's your ability to critically think and challenge your own.
What do you mean?
Well, like they don't have any.
How do they process?
It would have to be external in some way, shape, or form. So they'd have to write it down, or they're just taking what they're hearing externally from outside sources.
Wow.
And that's fact. And so,
wow.
It explains a lot.
I am blown away right now.
Right.
50%?
Yeah. Well, and then one of my other previous guests, she goes, "Oh, I have a whole opera." Right. That's what she's got going on in her. Because you got this perspective and then you got this person over here saying this thing. And then you got the people up in the nosebleeds yelling at you too. And you're like, can you just shut up?
Oh, and I'm already 4 steps ahead.
Exactly.
Part of why I've realized sometimes I like listen back to talks or whatever and I speak slow. In my brain, I am going so fast.
Yes.
And part of why I'm speaking slow is because I have to make sure that I've touched on all the things that I'm already like ahead of.
Yeah. I feel like the guy that's connecting all the red string and I'm like, okay, hold on. I got to go check on this file cabinet right over here. And I know I have this data over here. And the slowdown is real.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So research brain. I've already done tons of research on, or I shouldn't say research because I didn't perform the research. I've read tons of literature.
Yes.
It's the proper way to say that on sleep.
Yeah.
And on stress already.
Yeah.
And so, it was so interesting because I wasn't originally going to do my topic on this and it actually wasn't what I talked about in my interview.
Oh.
So I wanted to do my doctoral work on community gardens.
Oh, cool.
And how they impact the community.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, because our season is so short here, I couldn't do that.
No.
It'd be very challenging.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. And so, and I don't even know how I got the stress path.
Well, I mean, that's tied in there too, because a community garden, you're being social, you're outside. There's a lot of stress reducers in that.
Yes. And so if I remember correctly, so the first semester I was in grad school, throughout grad school, I used every assignment I could towards my doctoral work.
Yeah.
Because then it reduces, the extra stuff.
Yeah.
So my first semester was on these community gardens. And I think through that is where the stress piece kept coming out. And so throughout the years, it was redefined, right?
Right.
And narrowed down. So I did 3 years worth of literature on stress. And so what my doctoral work was on, my paper ended up being like 75 pages or something like that.
Yeah.
And it focused on using an adult stress screener tool in primary care. Nobody has ever done that.
Which isn't that mind-boggling? Like maybe we should start there.
Yeah. So providers might be doing it, but there's no research on it. None.
See, and this is quick rabbit hole there. This is where I go, okay, there's not a study done on this, but like
none.
That's so many different. Show me the study. Well,
there isn't one.
There isn't one. Yeah. And so I can give you a ton of anecdotal.
Yep.
But there's nothing.
None. Not at least in the last 3 years.
Gosh.
Right? Yeah. So I use the strain tool from UCLA.
Yeah. How does that work?
And So I just did their screening tool because otherwise you have to pay for their in-depth one.
Yeah.
And their in-depth one takes about 20 minutes. Nobody in primary care is going to use that because a primary care appointment is actually like 15 minutes.
Maybe.
You don't have time for that.
No.
So I did a 10 questionnaire as the pre-screening tool, which showed just as effective. It's similar to the ACEs. Have you heard of ACEs?
No.
So it's the I'm going to get this wrong. It's like adolescent childhood examination.
Okay.
So it's screening stress and trauma throughout your childhood.
Yeah.
So that doesn't exist for adults. There's no tool.
Yeah, because we magically have it figured out as adults.
Yeah. So mental health providers, though, they have multiple screenings, but they're very specific. So you have like a depression screening or an anxiety or a trauma or something,
Right.
but nothing that I could find that was over the adult's lifespan.
Oh gosh.
So
this is so depressing to hear because
I know.
I mean,
I know.
What health condition isn't from a stress of some kind?
Exactly.
And we aren't even screening to figure out what the stressors are?
Exactly.
Good.
So the strain tool, so I mean, it's some people are trying to create it, but it's not used in primary care. That's the other thing. If they are used, it's not primary care. Which is where
stuff.
all of our patients go.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the entry point.
Exactly.
Oh gosh.
So that was what my doctoral work was on. And
well, thank you.
You're welcome. Unfortunately, I couldn't publicize it.
Why?
Because this is so frustrating. So because it wasn't generalizable, I only got four providers to do it.
Oh my gosh.
I reached out to, I want to say 7 different medical offices, and it might have been more than that, but it covered within the practices I reached out to was a total of 104 providers.
Oh.
Of that, I got 4.
4.
I got 6, and then 2 had to drop out because one left on maternity leave and the other was too busy in primary care to do a screening tool.
Well, and was that their justification is we're too busy, there's too much going on? Like, what was the primary, we don't want to do this?
No, it was hard because you don't actually talk to the providers. You talk to their HR, you talk to their person, and
who's ultimately probably giving it, or would you do it during the appointment?
So the provider does it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them, it was either they're already doing a project for a student or it was just too cumbersome. Like they couldn't, their load was too high to be involved. Gosh. So 4, which is not generalizable at all. And so, yeah. So what was crazy is I dug into, stress is connected to everything.
Everything. Well, and I've said this before, but we kind of gloss over the word when we say disease, but it is dis-ease.
Yes.
Which the
stress.
Cellcore
conference just talked about that.
Oh, they did?
Yes,
oh, yeah.
It was so good.
It's so I'm so bummed out right now because
I know
we're too busy to do that. It is this should be the standard of care.
But then again, the powers that be have created this environment, and to be fair, the people asked for it. They just didn't realize that this is what they were going to get.
Yeah.
So it's like, sorry, like this is what you asked for. You know what I mean? It sucks. It really sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah.
There's no.
So what did the 4 show? What?
Oh, so let me remember. What was my question? It was, okay. So it was simple. It was like, does using a stress screener tool in primary care increase provider awareness of stress? And does that change the plan of care?
Right.
And yes.
Yeah, absolutely it would.
Yes.
Yeah. I know the punchline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't need 75 pages to know what the punchline is.
And so even in those 10 questions, though, it's people, when you speak to adults and you ask them if you've had lifetime stress or are you stressed, it's typically, well, not any more than anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Or, well, I've always been at like a 5 level stress. Like this is normal.
Yeah.
Well, we're not just talking about that. We're talking about were your parents divorced when you were a child?
Yep.
Have you had any sexual abuse, physical abuse from age 0 to now?
Right.
What was interesting, which I didn't dig into or able to get a hold of the creators of the screening tool, on the 10 questions, they asked if a father passed away.
Oh, but not a
but
mother?
not a mother.
Really?
Yes. And even when I tried to look into the literature to support that,
Yeah.
there was nothing that, of course, nobody's going to say in our world right now the implications of a father dying. It's all
No.
about the mother and the female and all this stuff.
Right.
So I couldn't find anything that correlated it. The
Well,
only thing that I could correlate, which might not even be related, is you hear all the statistics about the family dynamic when the father's not there.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
But I don't
And
know.
those statistics are damning.
Yes. So I don't know if that's, I don't know.
It has to be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. And so I got a lot of questions on that. And some people are like, well, why doesn't it say mother? I'm like, I didn't create the screening tool. It was just the best one out there for a quick thing. So that's like one of the questions. Yeah. And so people don't realize that these things, right, are all about health and stress.
Yeah.
And so I focused on, because money talks, right?
Yeah, it does.
So I focused on my literature was on the top 4 diseases that cause the country the most money strain and mortality rate. And so
what is that? Heart disease,
cardiovascular disease, cancer, stroke, and Alzheimer's dementia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was my focus. Although X, Y, and Z fill in everything.
Everything.
Yeah. And so that was what my doctoral work was on.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Well, and I'm sure that's carried over into everything that you do.
It is. And so that goes into like my holistic care.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I do is actually more mental health, which you talk to any primary care provider, and that's true.
Yes.
That is so true.
Yep.
We do more mental health. And what's so great about the CellCore conference is I wouldn't say most, and maybe it could just be because of where I'm at with my practice and even like
it's where the
personally and like where I'm doing women's ministry, you focus in on those things.
Yeah.
So they talked a lot about trauma and mental health and how the body, because CellCore does a lot of detoxification. And so if you have had a lot of trauma and you haven't processed that trauma, and your body hasn't processed that trauma because our body physically holds on to trauma.
It keeps the score.
You can't properly detox.
Nope.
Because your body is not in a place to do it.
Right.
You can, but it's not going to be as successful and it might be very hard.
Right.
In so many different ways. So we talked about that, which is fantastic. Because that's also a good segue into like my women's ministry.
Right.
So I'm a part of She Moves Mountains.
What a cool name.
It's so fantastic.
Yeah.
And I actually brought the book. Can I
Yeah, please. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
My leader is going to be so proud of me. So this is the book. She Moves Mountains.
Perfect. Let's see. Angle it. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Good?
Boom.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
And the author is Rochelle Lang. She's actually one of my mentors and one of my leaders. And so this is, I'm one of the leaders for this. And so we help women just inner healing.
Oh, yeah.
And get to a place to where you can move mountains and do what God has called you to do.
So cool.
It's so good. And so you can actually order this on Amazon. We also have a Facebook page, so you can go on that. And then the website is shemovesmountains.live.
She moves
so
mountains.
It's amazing.
Live.
And Rochelle has been on multiple like inner healing podcasts, things like that too. It's fantastic. So even doing this CellCore. Oh, sorry. I'm just, you can edit that. Like the inner healing part. So we do see this physical part come out.
Of course.
And
well, you said it earlier. What are your 4 pillars?
Mental, physical, spiritual, and social.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our physical manifestation. Yeah. Do you know we are made up of? I had to look this up. 27 octillion atoms.
I didn't know that.
And so everything is energy.
Yeah.
Energy is information that vibrates. Yes. And so your spiritual, your mental, all the other components, of course, whatever your physical manifestation is going to show that. Of course it would.
Past trauma.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Injuries, whatever. Yeah. It's fascinating. And so it also goes over into my work a lot. Mm. And especially with detox. So with men and women too, but a lot of our men have had toxic jobs.
both physically and mentally.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, all of it.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, well, if they haven't, and our men just have so much on their shoulders and so much that they carry, and they don't feel, a lot of them don't feel like they have a space to like express that or do anything with it, nor is it accepted, or do you do that?
Well, I mean, there's a huge social aspect there, right? Where men are supposed to be strong. We shoulder everything. We're the protectors. We a lot of times aren't supposed to show emotion, right? And so we just bottle it up, and the justification is, I'm a guy.
That's what guys do.
That's what guys do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And so and it's just reinforced on so many different levels.
Yeah. And I've spoke to so many guys, and it's, well, it doesn't matter even if you did have somebody to talk to, because my life experience is so different than the other person, which is true. We have epigenetics, we have family relationships, we have jobs, careers, whatever it is. It's so true. All of us are so different. So when they're looking for answers or support, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because mine's completely different.
Totally.
So you just got to do it. You just got to deal with it.
Right.
You know, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's also just knowing that if my patient is not, if I know that they've had trauma or things that they're processing through, we're going to have to be slow with the detoxification, or maybe it's something we're not even doing right now, even though I know that this is part of why their hormones are all messed up.
Of course.
Or, you know, their sexual life isn't doing great, or their job isn't doing great. But if we have this, then we got to do that first. And sometimes you're going to feel worse before you feel better.
Right. Yeah.
Which is really hard too, because as a provider, you don't have time to feel worse. You're already seeing a doctor because you know something's off.
Right.
You don't feel good.
Right.
So, and it's to the point that they're seeing me, because getting a dude to the doctor
is already hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they obviously are at the point where they need help.
Right.
And so then I'm like, well, you might feel worse before you feel better.
Well, and
like,
we also have the culture of, there's a pill for that, right? There's something we can take to just fix it.
Fortunately, with the line of work I do, what I'm seeing so far, because the clinic is new, like 2 months, maybe 3 months out.
Yeah.
Let's see, February, the middle of February is when we open the clinic.
Yeah. And then had an awesome open house grand opening. It was so good to be there. Yeah. I love your clinic.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. So it's, what was I saying? I get distracted.
So it's been open 2 months. What you're seeing.
What I do. So most patients, because of what I do, they're not the pill taker person.
That's a very good point. You already bypassed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they've gone to conventional medicine.
Yes.
They've done the regular stuff. They haven't gotten answers. And or they don't trust medicine anymore.
Yeah.
And so they're not ones to do that anyways.
Right.
Which is great, because that is, like, I put a lot of work and effort into what I do.
Yeah.
And so I want my patients to do the same.
Well, it's kind of like
your health.
Right.
And so I love it that they're willing to exercise and eat and change their diet, and they're so open to these things.
Right.
And so it's actually, my patients are willing to do the work.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, that's almost one of the blessings coming out of COVID, is it made a lot of people skeptical and start asking questions.
Yes.
And so, being able to bypass that portion of it. And when somebody, I think a big piece is the empowerment aspect too, where you are in charge of your health.
Yes.
And you said it kind of earlier when we were talking about the Mediterranean diet, right? How you go from meat and potatoes to that. And you've already, same thing with this. We've already bypassed the conventional medicine. You might be ready to implement more of that Mediterranean diet aspect of things than
exactly.
Well, I'm not getting you straight off of meat and potatoes.
Yeah. And they're asking me all these questions and things that I haven't heard about. And I'm all like, okay, let's do it.
That's so fun. Yeah. So you're still learning along the process too.
Yes. Because I'm trained in conventional medicine.
Right.
So most of my experience as far as integrative and functional medicine goes is my own.
Right.
And there's not a lot out there unless you go functional medicine route, right?
Right.
And so it's, you do the literature, you do the research, you network, you have mentors, you do classes, so that's where I'm at, and that's what I do to implement it. And I think it's beautiful because because of my degree, I am able to prescribe and do everything. So in the state of Idaho, I'm an independent practitioner, and we have independent authority.
Cool.
Yeah. So I can prescribe, I can order imaging. I can do almost everything a medical doctor can do.
Amazing.
The only things is that there's certain things Medicare and Medicaid say a medical doctor, which is a physician, can do that I can't.
Okay.
So it's little things like that in the state of Idaho, which I don't take insurance.
I was going to say, yeah, which is Rachel did medical billing for a while. Oh my gosh. I mean, not only is everything that we talked about with the government and everything else and how much of a mess FDA and NIH and all the rest of them are.
Yeah.
But when you combine that with the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies, that is a whole, just retail's terrible. All that other stuff that we talked about is terrible. Go try and call your insurance company.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. And I didn't want them to dictate how I practice.
No. And that's exactly what they do.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bypass that.
Good.
Yeah. So I do a lot. It's just that. It's the networking. It's the going to like the Cellcore convention, learning all these other things. And it's so great because my patients have been so gracious and that's what they want.
Yes.
And I'm a very honest person. And I tell them that, like, if I don't know something, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
But what's great is I know like how to find it or who I can reach out to, and I'm willing to do other things. And that's where the integrative comes in. I'm not just stuck in one thing.
Right.
And what's great about the conventional side of things is I know the body, I know the patho, the physiology, I know the medications.
Yep.
So people that want to come off conventional medicine, I understand that part too.
Right.
Which
is huge.
Yeah. And then also with my emergency medicine and everything else, I know when things are an emergency.
Right.
I know how to prescribe medication. Like if you do want medication, okay, fine. Like it's your life.
You know what I love as you're saying this is clearly God had that path for you. Because because you need all those pieces because it allows you to holistically help.
Isn't it brilliant?
It's so cool. I'm like getting shivers because you were painting and you're here and each step along the way, everything that you've touched is to be able to serve in that way. It's awe-inspiring is what it is.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw that too. So I knew that. So the sleep research that I've done, that was just an interest of mine, but I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. And then for so long, nutrition was the first part that I dug into. So I know so much about nutrition.
Yeah.
And then the stress for my doctoral work, I'm like, what the heck? And then my mental health, I didn't realize, because I didn't like mental health. And doing like inpatient mental health, that's another thing. And that's that's hard too, because I believe a lot of mental health is spiritual.
Yeah.
But conventional medicine does not.
No, because they don't want to incorporate the spiritual.
Yes. So it's very challenging.
Right. You're like totally taking away one of the four pillars and going, yeah, we can still figure this out. How?
Yeah.
Your roof is going to collapse.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I was so young when I did mental health that I was like, and my walk with God was different at that time. And so it's like, I know this is like evil. Like certain things.
Yeah.
Like this is an evil thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to handle it and I was terrified. And there's nobody I could talk to about this because nobody else thinks these things. So here I am just little, Renee, like praying, please God just protect me and this person and have nothing happen,
Right.
So even then, my point was I didn't like mental health. I just liked my position at that place and I learned so much. Then as a nurse, that year that I did mental health at a resident place, the training I learned with mental health has been the most training I have ever gone back to and used throughout my whole career.
Really?
Yes. And I was blown away by that.
In what ways?
Just your communication and how to de-escalate somebody.
Yeah.
So even in the hospital, I would have other nurses come to me and be like, Renee, my patient, this is happening. Can you come in and talk to them? Because they saw that I can communicate to people and I didn't even know, I just talked to them.
Yeah. You just naturally have that.
Yeah. It was bizarre. And I think God used me a lot in that way too, because knowing that my nursing career was never me and it was all about God, I got to a point, especially in the hospital, I would pray on my way to work and I'm like, okay, God, like, use me to reach your people and your children.
Cool.
These are your children. They are not mine.
Yeah.
And show me what I need to do today. And
you're an instrument in his
so
hands.
He did. And that's where I learned how to pray over people.
Yeah.
Like without fear.
Yeah.
And like that's when like, oh, I know now. Look at that. I'm just realizing this. Like that was, so the Holy Spirit speaks to me in a specific way. Now I recognize it and I know that feeling and I'm like, okay, that's Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And I got to do this. He did that to me in the hospital when I had to pray over people.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was that then. I knew it was God, but I didn't like know like this is Holy Spirit speaking.
Right.
Which I do right now in this moment. So that's pretty cool.
That's so cool.
And so being in Washington too, that's scary. So I would like close the door and maybe even close the curtain and just pray over my patients.
That's
like,
amazing.
But God used me in so many ways. And even he like I have to thank my mother-in-law. She is amazing. She is very good at she doesn't judge people at all.
Yep.
And accepts everybody. And I've learned that from her and like through my husband. Her children are all very much like that. And that's wonderful. And so I always was connected to the drug addicts in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why, but I loved them. They were some of my favorite patients to actually take care of, and everybody else hated taking care of them. And so like God used me in that way too. And I just remember like, because the nurses are so judgy and they were like, oh, so-and-so's in here again.
Yeah.
You know, repeat offender, or, you know, this person's in for the third heart transplant because they've wrecked or third heart surgery because they've wrecked their heart because of drugs.
Well, and I would imagine that it's easy to get that mentality of we could be saving this other person or helping these other people that need it.
Care about their health.
Right.
Yeah.
And this person just is wasting it. So, no, exactly.
It's so crazy. And so God used me in so many ways, and I would just talk to them. And He has shown me I'm really good at molding to where people are and having that communication with them.
Yeah.
Like my verbiage would even change with them.
Right.
Because you gotta meet their verbiage.
Yep.
You know, and their language and how they speak. And I think my past life experiences have also supported that, because I can relate to I know what they're talking about. And like, it doesn't surprise me what they're going through or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And it's most of them, I mean, it's just their demons are so heavy.
Right.
That they just can't.
Well, and to me, addiction fundamentally is escapism.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to the people want to be seen and heard.
Yep.
And so, and you tied it in earlier with the guys don't feel, I'm the only one that's experienced this thing.
Yeah.
And so at a minimum, going at them, working with them in a non-judgmental, caring, I'm like, I see you way.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to open up. Of course they're going to like you versus the nurse that's in here. Even if they're not going to say that to the patient, but that attitude definitely comes out.
Yeah. I remember one patient, I don't even know where we're going on this, but I had one addict and he came from the ICU and his girlfriend was there and she had to get searched anytime she came in. And I remember her crouching on the floor in the hallway waiting to be searched. And like, of course, the nurses were like, oh, you know, so-and-so's girlfriend's here. And so I was like so mad. I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like being in the hospital is the most vulnerable thing that you can, like one of them that you can do. Like what you're supposed to heal people. Like what the heck is wrong with you? So I went over there and I sat next to her until the like person came. I knew her name. I heard her story.
Yeah.
Through him being an addict, she decided to get clean and was already like getting a hold of like in-house treatment. Like she made the decision herself.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the heck? And I think she's actually one I think about often.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you people?
Well, and I wonder where she ended up.
I know.
How she is
so
today.
Curious.
Yeah.
And I've prayed over her like randomly and whatever. But yeah. And what's great is one of the nurse practitioners who supported me going to doctoral school in the paper wrote about that.
Oh, cool.
And not about that incident, but how I don't judge people and how I can speak to even like, I don't remember exactly, but you know, the those type of people and just give care that doesn't change.
Yeah.
And so it was actually really cool to
That's
have that
what a cool compliment.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
But yeah, God has definitely he's put some things that I didn't recognize were going to be part of my practice.
Right.
And then other things that I knew. So like even in grad school, I knew that conventional medicine is not like where my foundation is, right?
Yeah.
And so, or where I want it to be. So I did I got approved for specialty rotations. So like I did a little bit of time with like a naturopathic doctor.
Yep.
And then I also did a little bit of time in like a hormone clinic. So like knowing
you touched everything.
Okay, I know it's only like a short amount of hours, but I'm going to use this time to like
pull
do
out
what
as
I can.
Much. Yeah.
And what's great is now I have their connection. So it's like I've even called like the naturopath that I worked with. I'm like, hey, can I ask you some questions? I've referred patients to her.
Cool.
Like, so it's even that networking piece to have, all these little nuggets. And like, I also did a mental health rotation with a mentor of mine. She's a psych nurse practitioner, and she does mental health for first responders and like military. And so I work alongside with her a lot, and we run things off of each other and
that's
stuff.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
So I'm curious. I have a couple different threads that I want to pull on, but I think this one might close or be something wrapping this portion up. How did you go from you graduate, you've done your doctorate?
Doctorate. Yeah.
To opening up your clinic. Where did you go? All the things that you could have done. Why men's health?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did that door open?
Okay. So why men's health? So I decided to do men's health because, well, one, I grew up very much a tomboy, doing tomboy things. I still do tomboy things. Like I still ride dirt bikes, things like that.
Cool.
Yeah. And getting married young, my husband's older than me. So I got married at 19. My husband was 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I hung out with him and his friends.
Right.
And we're very much, and I just hung out with the dudes. I hated it when they would bring their girlfriends over. Because it was like I had to entertain this girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like we're working on the cars in the garage right now. Like I'm not going inside with you. Like don't bring your girlfriends over here.
Yeah, especially if they worked at Forever 21.
Yeah, no. Pass. So very much a tomboy and like hung out with the dudes a lot and did those kind of things.
That's cool.
And also, it's just so interesting how this is, like you said, it's all woven together.
It's all woven.
It's so knitted, right?
Yeah.
So good. God is so good. So Daniel and I were the first to get married in our group. We're the youngest to get married. Yeah. Our house has always been the hub.
Yeah.
So we're there for relationship advice. We're there for drama. We're there for work stuff. And Daniel's always been like the older brother among his friends too. So it's like all that. So I see just this trend as I become into nursing, how society just does not, like our men, I feel our men are the backbone to society. And when they are thriving, our families and communities thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm seeing this trend of demasculination among our men.
Yeah, for sure.
And they don't have, I feel like they're neglected and not well taken care of. And so that is the root to where this started happening. And I see that among all of our friends.
Yeah.
I see that among healthcare, especially working in Washington for as long as I did. Like the whole feminine thing that's happening, right?
Right.
And then I also see it in lab results. Like our testosterone among men
is so
plummeting.
Low. It's so bad.
Like I have 20-year-olds that need testosterone replacement therapy, and this isn't abnormal. Yeah. And it's multifaceted.
Oh, yeah.
Toxins, cloud seeding, our food, the birth control pills that have been out there. There's so much, right? Yeah. There's so much that feeds into that.
So many variables.
Yes, so many. And so I'm seeing this and so I'm like something needs to happen here.
Right.
So out of grad school, I actually was interviewed and took a position for women's health.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was so surprised and decided shortly after that was not the direction that I wanted to go.
And why not?
because it's women's health.
You want to hang out with the dudes.
I want to hang out with the dudes. But I learned so much even in the time that I was there. And I'm like, you know what? I can, like, I don't know what this looks like, but something needs to change here.
Yeah.
Then one of my mentors, she was thinking like, well, we should do something together.
Oh, cool.
So I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I already had an LLC set up for something else. And so I'm like, okay, well, I already have some of these pathways already set up. Let's start doing it. So I'm working to like us to merge this thing together. Well, things fell through on her side.
Oh.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, God, like, because I didn't have the courage to do it on my own.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and as you were saying this, I'm thinking, I love that she got the title Unafraid in your practice name, because you were talking about how you weren't afraid of things earlier. But right here, to do it on your own,
yes,
there was some fear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, and so that fell through, and it's fine. It's totally okay. And I'm like, okay, well, I was like 3/4 on the way of getting my side of things going.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah. Now you got to pull, okay. You're in too deep now. Now you got to do it.
We're just doing it. Right?
Another theme that keeps emerging.
We just rip the Band-Aid off. We're just going to do it. And my husband is so wonderful because like he knows this. I have this fear of failing. I have a fear of failure.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't?
And like not being enough.
Yeah.
You know? And so he's so wonderful. He's like, you know what? We're going to do it. And I'm giving you space to fail.
Oh, what a beautiful line.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
He's like, I got us. And we're just going to do it.
Holding that space. That is so cool.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
And so that released a lot. And so again, it was one of those things like I can go to work for a primary care clinic and work
while
and go
I'm building
collect
this
that paycheck
and do the thing.
Nope, we're ripping the Band-Aid off.
That's amazing.
And we're just going all in.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing right now. And we're just kind of going all in.
Yeah.
And Holistic and Unafraid, actually, I created in grad school.
Oh, wow.
So I created, before the pandemic, my own Instagram account where I was doing like health tips.
Yeah.
It was like everyday healthy tips and tricks.
Cool.
And so that was my thing. And I prayed about it and was like trying to, and Holistic and Unafraid came up. It just kept coming up.
You've had that title for a while.
I have. And it was based off of Joshua 1:9, which helped me through some hard times. And it was that, do not be, hold on. I always like say it wrong, but, be courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God is with you always.
Yeah.
And so that was the basis of that. And so I'm all like, well, we're just, okay, this is the name of the clinic. Like, I didn't even question it. I'm like, I'm just going to do it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so the foundation of Holistic and Unafraid health optimization for men is 2 Timothy 1:7, which is you were created with, hold on. Look, I'm on the spot. So I get all nervous. And I'm like, wait, am I going to like quote scripture wrong? Like, what's going to happen? Am I going to like, they're going to stone me after this?
I see a group forming outside.
But you were created of power, love, and a sound mind.
Oh, yeah.
You were created not of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind.
Yeah.
And so that's like the foundation of the clinic.
Well, I love that scripture. I love that line, and that's the foundation, because we naturally want to be whole. Our body wants to reach homeostasis. We want to be healthy.
Yes.
And so again, if there's stress and you're getting those dis-eases, then it's trying to tell you, it's directing you to get help. There's something that needs to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And God gives you the power to do so.
Absolutely.
And we think that Christianity is some sissy la feel good thing, and it's not.
Yeah.
Right? It takes discipline.
Yes.
And it takes power.
Yeah.
And it takes a sound mind.
Yeah.
And it takes love. And love doesn't look the way people thinks it looks like. And so it's not some weak thing.
Right.
It is very much a thing of strength and of power and of discipline and the mindset of a warrior, which is who God has created you to be.
Yeah.
And so it's trying to encourage our men to take hold of that again.
What war are we fighting? I'm ready to follow. That was that needs to be like a bumper sticker right there.
Yes,
that was so good.
Thank you. Yeah. that's what I'm doing.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Thank you.
and there's, your story is so amazing because it is just that like, hey, this thing's going to enter your awareness and what's happening. And we're going to explore that for a little bit. And then you're coming over here and we're getting this. And then this tapestry that's been woven.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It is. And and God is so funny. He actually definitely has a sense of humor.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like I can't believe that he doesn't, right?
No, oh yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So here I am always like, I'm a tomboy. Oh my gosh. I have never been surrounded by so many women in my life.
Well, I was going to say that when we went to your grand opening.
It was all women.
It was all women.
Those are my women. That's my tribe.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was so cool.
So yeah. And not to downplay women. I think they're brilliant. Our women, and I think they need to step more into their warrior role as well.
Yeah.
And I think they downplay the influence that they have on their men.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and what's interesting, my husband and I don't even know why this just popped into my brain. We were talking about this recently. And yes, our husbands are this umbrella. And my husband said it because he's in construction. He's like, yes, we're the roof. We protect you from all this outside influence. We hold this together. But you are the pillars.
Yeah.
That you're the frame that hold the roof up.
Yeah.
And so, like, when that falls, the whole thing starts tumbling down. And so it doesn't always look the way we think it does. And our strength might be behind closed doors, right? It's within the walls of our home. It's in the walls of our relationship. It might not be what everybody sees on the outside, right? Because we're at home raising babies, doing family stuff. Our men are the ones out in the world, but we are the pillars that hold that together. Yeah. And that's powerful.
Well, and I love that imagery.
Isn't that so good?
That's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you need both.
You do.
You absolutely need both. And they're complementary.
Yes.
And one isn't doing the other's thing.
No. They're very different.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful.
Well, and I love that you get to do both in your life because
I do too.
With your practice, you're helping men and then you have your women's group. And so what does that look like?
Yes. So wait, the two together or the women's group or what?
Wherever you want to take that. Okay. Yeah.
So the two together, what I'm seeing, it's great because of what I'm doing with women, I can also talk to their men about their wives and their relationships.
Yep.
So that's good too.
Yeah.
Because then I can relate to that. And then what's great with the men is I am very much a straightforward, honest, blunt person.
Right. Yeah. Which men appreciate.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've got very tough skin.
Yeah.
And I've been around a variety of people. And so whatever they say to me, I'm not going to take offense to.
Right.
And it's really funny because some of them do it. They try to be polite and they'll stumble on. I'm like, it's okay. You can say that. Yeah. And I'll just say it. Yeah. You know? And they're like, you're so cool. I'm like, it's okay. You know? I'm like, it's fine. I know you have this background or I know like it's, you're not
you work in
me.
construction. I know what goes on at the construction site.
Yeah. Like, I'm doing men's health. I know.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. It's a cool balance. And then what's great too is on that side, I can speak into my women, like if they're having marriage things or whatever, and just speak to that heaviness and burden that our men actually have.
Yeah.
And that the influence that we have on them.
That's so cool.
So it very much complements each other.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing, we'll see what God does, but I'm seeing a lot of couple stuff happening within the practice.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So like I do fertility health for men.
Yeah.
Well, if their wife isn't seeing a fertility person, I mean, I can't make one be successful and the other not.
Right. It takes two to tango.
Yeah. And so I'll offer services or like help optimize their health too.
Cool.
And so I'm seeing this trend, not just with fertility, but it's also like if I'm helping a man optimize his health and like he's feeling good, his libido's good, he's exercising, he's doing all these things, but your partner is not on that same level, you're going to have marriage issues.
For sure.
And so I'm like, I'm having patients like, hey, will you see my wife?
Oh.
And so I'm like, okay, because that's part of it. Like that's the social part.
Yes.
Right. I can't help this patient if we're missing one of the other parts.
Right.
And so I'm like, God, what are you doing?
Yeah. What's that?
Okay.
Yeah. What's getting pulled on there?
Okay.
That's interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's too soon to tell. But
yeah. It's going to be an ever evolving
It will.
thing.
It will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So
That's
then
cool.
more specifically on your women's group and how I mean, because one, that has to be fulfilling for you in a different way than the men.
Yes.
And what is that world looking like, right? Because we've talked about the troubles that the men are having and from all that, gosh. What are you seeing on that side?
Again, something that I was like, no, God.
Yeah.
What are you doing to me?
What are we doing?
This is not what I want to do.
I got nominated for another thing that I don't want. Why am I doing this?
Yeah. And I got tricked into this too. Oh my gosh. God's like, because you're too stubborn.
Sense of humor.
Yeah. I'm like,
confirmed.
Okay, got it. Oh my gosh. So we were new at Heart of the City.
Okay.
And I had been in like leadership and ministry type roles before. Nothing crazy. Like I just led groups or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
And this was in the middle of grad school. And I was so exhausted and depleted. And I'm like, I need to be filled up.
Yes.
I can't give anymore. I have nothing left to give.
Your tank is empty.
Yes. And so I knew the best thing to do is get involved.
Always.
And so we just started at the church and they were starting up home groups.
Which is so good.
It's so good. So I even remember the videos playing, and when She Moves Mountains went on there, I'm like, I'm not doing that group. That's a no for sure. Like barf.
The book she just flashed up a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Not doing that one.
Not doing that one. That sounds disgusting. So
I'm never say never.
Don't ever say that.
Kiss of death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it was time to sign up. And so it was like a different Sunday. And you walk through the lobby and there was somebody standing there. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the group I'm going to do. I didn't think about the name. I didn't think about anything, whatever. I just signed up for it.
Right.
Happens to be that group. I go up there the first night. And this night, the leaders lined up and were sharing some of their testimony.
Yeah.
And it was this night particularly, because I've done 3 sessions now. This night, they were very vulnerable and shared a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I feel this flood of emotion. And I've gone through some like therapy and stuff for like past things. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, really? Like having this monologue with God. And I'm like, this is what we're doing right now? Right now. I'm in the middle of grad school. You know? I'm like, really, God? This is what you want to... Really? Right now.
Yeah.
Cool. Guess we're doing this.
Yeah, thanks. I'm running on empty. I'm slammed. And so almost like it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah. Yes.
Weird.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we're leaning in. This is what you want me to do. So I lean into this group and there's so many chains that were lifted and broken from this group. And it's inner healing.
Yes.
And I had no idea. And it is in a way that I have never seen done before because it's all spirit and God led.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. And never have I been like around a group of women that accept and love you so much. And there's no judgment. There's no criticism because women can be very catty and mean.
Yeah.
Very catty. None of that exists. Like we squash that right away.
That's amazing.
Like it's not even an option.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful. It is so fantastic. So then the leader of my group, we become pretty close. And she tricks me into becoming a leader the next semester.
I think you're willingly getting tricked.
Probably. Well, because I know I have leadership. I've always been asked to be and I deny it because I'm like, I don't want to. Like, just let me do my basic stuff and like chug along. God's like, yeah, no.
No, you'd get bored.
Like, why would... That's what my husband says. No, you need to be on my team.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm on Renee's team, not Daniel's. Sorry. I'm pretty sure that's the same team, though.
It is. It is the same team. Yeah. It is. It's team motto. So, yeah. So my friend tricks me into, she's like, we're just going to come with me this summer. We're like just getting together once a week to like get together and like have barbecues and eat, just casual, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, of course I'll go with you. It sounds great. You know? Yeah. No, it's us all gathering together and learning how to be leaders. I haven't, and like first couple of nights, I'm like, I didn't even know that this was what it is. I'm like, I haven't decided this. And all the girls are like, Renee, we know you're going to do it. And I'm like, totally in denial. Like, no, you guys, I don't have space for this,
We're supposed to be eating and having a good time.
Yeah, that's it. No. know.
My mouth hurts, by the way.
From smiling?
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I become a leader. And so this is my second round of leading.
Cool.
Yes. And what's great is as a leader, and I don't know, have you led with any like ministry or like men's group stuff like that?
Yep.
And you learn more as a leader than
for sure. Every time.
You know what I mean?
Every time.
Yeah. So every single
season. This is for them, right? And I feel like I'm getting all the benefit here.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly
and then they come up and they say how much they appreciate it and how much they're benefiting. You're like, okay, it's not just me. I don't have to feel selfish.
Yeah. Because I'm all like, really? Okay, this is like deep. So yeah, I've done it. This is my second time leading now.
That's so fun.
Yeah. And I have just grown so much and have healed so much and continue to heal. And
well, and I love that because everything that comes into our life is done for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like the synchronicities and just the way that God works is amazing.
Yeah.
And what I'm kind of sensing here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you get to go out and serve and help heal men. And yes, you're definitely helping the women heal with your leadership role, but it's helping you, like you're getting fed on both ends and you're feeding on both, right? You're helping minister on both ends.
Yes.
And what a cool.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because it's also hard to change that mindset of like my clinic. It is a ministry.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
And so, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
God works in mysterious ways.
He does. And then I just have to continue to hold on to that it's not going to look like what the world thinks it's going to look like.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's really easy to get influenced or like, have people say things like, well, a business only like success, like, small business after 3 to 5 years. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but this is God's clinic. So
yep. So we're going to just do it right now.
And even when the clinic started, God was completely in it. So I've recently gotten into like prophetic numbers.
Oh, cool.
Have you gotten into that?
Maybe by a different name. Tell me.
Well, like you like know like what numbers mean and what they represent on like a biblical standpoint.
Yeah,
this is all new to me.
Okay.
Do you follow Troy Brewer?
No.
Oh, you
maybe?
should.
I don't know.
He's out of Texas. You need to.
You're gonna have to show me.
Yeah, you need to like follow
Troy
him.
Baker.
Brewer.
Yes,
Troy Brewer. He's awesome. So, so these numbers were coming up. And so when I was praying about the clinic, because of course I wanted to open it at a certain time and it wasn't lining up. And so I was praying about it and God gave me a date. I didn't know. And this was not related to me praying about the clinic, but he gave me a date and it was like, this is going to open. When I was praying, he's like, mark your calendar 3 months. I'm like, okay. So I marked it 3 months. And the number 3 has been like a reoccurring thing with the clinic. Yeah. And like 3 represents like, God, Jesus, Spirit,
right.
like it's completion, things like that. And is it completion? Do you know what it is?
Could be.
I'm new with this stuff. So it's like, I don't want to say something that's not true. So anyways, he's totally in it. So I mark it on my calendar. Happens that 3 months to that date is the date I opened my clinic.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even intentional. It was like everything was lining up. And I'm like, oh, look, that's the date. Okay, we're doing it on this week.
Cool.
Like, this is the date. And then 3 is within the square footage of my space. 3 is within how much I'm paying. 3 is like within everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I had 3 months of rent saved for a space. And it was exact to this space.
Whoa.
So I'm like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my space wasn't the ideal space,
Right.
You've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it works and it's great.
It works
and
great.
It's humble.
And you've made it.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a really cool space.
It's a cool space. But it was like, so I had 3 months saved up. He's like, save 3 months. This is how much I want you to save. And it happened to be 3 months for the clinic for like, so 3 was in it.
Yeah. Almost everything that my jersey numbers, my email address, my name the thing. I've always been drawn to 3 or 33.
Shut up.
I like that 3's the number that year.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And then somehow I had 4 kids, so I don't know. One of them's extra.
Huh. But there's 6 of you in the house.
Yeah.
Is 3.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's right there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
cool.
So I just did it. Yeah.
That's wild.
It's so weird.
So another one of those threads that I wanted to pull on is
Yeah.
you talked about how initially you didn't recognize how you hear the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And I'm curious what that experience is like for you. How do you feel that? How do you hear it? How do you interact?
Yeah. So when I was 30 years old, I had some stuff happen within my life, and I, up until 30, I was never baptized.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Oh,
And so at 30, I got baptized.
cool.
And the Holy Spirit flooded over me. And I never
Oh.
felt that before ever.
Yeah.
And so that's when I really dug into scripture and my building a relationship with him and knowing, like, I gave myself to the Lord when I was in junior high. I remember doing it.
Yeah.
So I believed in God. I believed in Jesus. I read my Bible, but I didn't understand what a relationship truly is.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Yep.
And you don't know until you know.
Yep.
Right. And so that's where that threshold was crossed.
Cool.
And so at 30 is when I started building that relationship with him. And so I journal a lot. So originally, journaling is how like God speaks to me.
Oh,
like I can
yeah.
have a conversation with him
Yeah.
and then I'll write down what he tells me. And then also during that time, I could hear him.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And so I call it my prayer walks. I take my dog out for a walk in the morning
Yeah.
and I spend that time with God. And it was so interesting. Because he would just say like one or two words. And it's that when you first hear that, so you mentioned growing that muscle, right?
Yep.
You're like, is that God? Is that my own voice?
Right.
Like what is this?
Yes.
And so I asked for confirmation. I'm like, God, I need confirmation. And so he would always bring somebody into my life that had no idea what was going on or what I was asking and say word for word what he said. Yes.
I love that.
Yes. And so over time, I learned the difference between my voice and his voice.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. Yes. And now, I mean, and you do good and you do not. Like when you get super busy or you're not in scripture or things like that,
Right.
my voice will overflood his voice again. And I'm like, sorry, God, but I need confirmation again. 'Cause, the human side has taken over.
Yeah.
But he always is faithful and always answers.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time I really heard God's voice. And then I realized that he speaks to me in journaling too.
That's so cool.
I can pray and start writing and he will say something, I'll write it down. And then I've learned to cross-reference that, make sure to talk to your mentors, pray about it, whatever.
Right,
and
right.
like, is this really something that Jesus would say to you?
Right.
And it typically is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's
so
and I love how that gift is sometimes there's a lot of similarities with other people, and then there's other. So that's why I wanted to dive into that a little bit because it's because he speaks to each of us differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard
but there's a lot, but it rhymes a lot, right? The method and or what that experience is.
It's interesting. And then now I've learned, so when I'm supposed to pray over somebody or say something to somebody, I get this stirring in my gut. And it's like, it's similar to like if you feel anxious, but it's different.
Yes.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
And that was the feeling I used to feel in the hospital when I was to pray over somebody, but I didn't really know. Like, I'm like, okay, God, I think this is you.
Cool.
But I didn't know that that's what that was. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, it totally makes sense.
And so now whenever I feel that, I know I like speak to him and I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit, like I know this is what you, like, this is you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's more like, okay, Holy Spirit, like, what do I say? What do I do? Let the words flow through me, whatever. And so then I just say what I have to say.
That one's cool. And that's probably the most relatable for how I experience it. Yeah, because it's definitely different from like when I am anxious or nervous about something, and that's like a different butterfly feeling.
It's different.
Yeah. But then when there's like a conviction behind it, you have to move on this.
Yes. And if you don't, it gets worse.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, calm down. I'm going to do it. And he's like, yeah, but do it right now.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, somebody just went up there. He's like, I don't care.
That.
Okay. Stop yelling at me.
Stop yelling at me. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm spitting everywhere. That's hilarious.
That.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I like getting yelled at, I guess.
Cool. Fine.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to close this chapter, and I'm sure we'll end up bringing more of this in.
Oh, sure.
And I'm going to throw this out because we're at 2.5.
Okay.
And so we probably about another half an hour. We could push it another hour, but just so that, from pacing perspective.
Yeah.
You had mentioned, so I feel like there's a lot more on the relationship with God and how you got to where you are today.
Uh-huh.
And maybe there's a tie-in, and I don't know how much of this you want to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
but you had talked about we've gone through some stuff in our marriage, and you had some stuff growing up. You had to figure out how to be independent and strong early.
Yeah.
And so maybe some of those themes are tied together, but I'm curious.
Oh, those are some of the threads. They totally are. I don't want to dig too much into my childhood trauma and past.
Yep.
Just to honor those that are involved.
Of course.
And I'm still processing through a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to touch base on a lot of that. But I felt like I had to grow up at a very young age.
Yeah.
And I took on a provider role even for like my little sister at a young age, whether that was warranted or not. I mean, childhood perspectives are what they are.
Right.
But that was very much taken on. And at a very young age, I felt alone. And so I had to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And so that rolls over into adulthood.
Yeah.
Which then spilled into marriage issues.
Oh,
right?
Okay. Yeah.
So even at the age of 30, it was after 10 years of marriage, my husband and I had a really tough year. And so that was, and I won't go into details with that, but that was the year that God really worked on both of us. And we realized that for the first 10 years, well, at that point, it was the past 10 years, we've been doing marriage wrong.
Yeah.
And it was just from our childhood and growing up and worldly influences or whatever, And so like God really opened both of our eyes. And so that was that year 10 was a struggle for our marriage, but it was good.
Yeah.
And so then reconciliation year came, which was beautiful. And so we like celebrate that because it is almost like when you're born again.
Yes.
Like we really see that first 10 years of our marriage is like completely different. Like it's not even
like you look back on those people and go,
who are you?
Yeah, this is different.
So different.
So different.
And so now it is like we are growing so much together and in the Lord, and there's things happening in both of us, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful too, because those past experiences wouldn't have allowed us to even relate to the people that we do. And God has used it so many times. It's like, how do I don't know. Even at a young age, like in my 20s, I'd have people be like, well, just ask Renee. She's like Betty Crocker. She knows everything.
She's like Betty Crocker.
Yeah. She's like, she knows how to cook. She knows how to garden. She knows how to do all these things. And people are like, how do you know to change your oil? I'm like, well, when you're poor, you can't pay for these things.
Right.
You gotta learn
You gotta figure it out.
And my husband worked in and out. Like he was gone half of our marriage off and on because he traveled for work sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it's like he made sure that I knew how to do basic things on my car when he wasn't there. So like little things like that, like when you have to survive, you learn how to survive.
Learn how to survive.
So yeah, it's not a good thing that I know all these things,
But it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I can relate to a lot of different people in my clinic and even throughout my nursing career too.
Right.
And it doesn't surprise me,
No, right.
And then also being with like inner healing and some of the stories I hear there, like even like nothing surprises me anymore.
No.
And so it's like I can relate to people, I can talk to people, I can like make them feel like, yeah, this isn't when they think this is crazy, nobody else has done this, like this isn't normal. And then I can be like, you'd be surprised how many people I actually hear this from.
Right.
And then they're like, what?
I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
That's so huge.
And it's been a huge compliment. I've had a couple people tell me that they like coming to see me because there's no judgment.
Yeah. That is one of my favorite themes.
Yeah.
When you combine that with love God, love each other, it's not complicated.
Yeah.
And people can feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. because we all come from something.
We all come from something.
We all got stuff.
Yeah.
And my dirt's not any dirtier than your dirt.
Right. Like, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's just help each other love Jesus and love people.
And my favorite compliment that I get for the podcast is it's so healing to hear other people's stories.
Oh.
And so it's that, right? It's being able to relate, being able to go, oh, I'm not the only one. And somebody is listening to me and not looking at me like I'm diseased.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or some crazy person or whatever it is. Yeah. I know. There's magic there.
And God uses it. He uses all of it. So remember, Daniel and I were like the first to get married within our group.
Yeah.
So here we are, the first to go through marriage, like strife, like true, like hardship.
Right.
So now people are like, okay, you guys are reconciliating and like we're seeing these things in you. So then we've had like 3-4 couples like come to us.
Yeah.
And so then we get to help come alongside them and help them through their stuff.
That's amazing.
And what's crazy with marriage stuff is even then, like I was in at a different church and had like women mentors in my life. That's when I really started getting women mentors in my life.
Yeah.
And it was older women who had been in the church. That could be good or bad. But it was like, oh yeah, our husband, we went through that. We went through that. We did this. We got separated and reconnected. We got divorced. We got reconnected. This person had an affair. This person didn't. This had addiction. And it's like, nobody talks about it.
No.
So it's like, what? Like, how come nobody regularly talks about this or even beforehand so we can prepare that this is a normal like hill that people typically go through and that you can get help or you can overcome this and that like, it was just like, but once you said it, then people started talking about it. I'm like, I wish I would have known this like 2 years ago when you see the red flags happening and here you are in a new marriage and you have no idea what you're doing. You think you're doing it right. And then you're like, oh, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Right?
Yeah. It's so true. Well, and it's tied into, you said that with the women's group, right? That we came together and people shared and were willing to be vulnerable.
Yep.
And I remember I had a pastor one time who said, if you looking at, there's 300 people in the congregation. And he goes, if you knew what each one of these people was going through.
Yes.
Like, well, I'd like to actually.
Yeah.
Could we like maybe not have the judgment piece? And it's like, you can't bring this up in Sunday school or whatever the meeting is because you're going to be the pariah or whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, we're all, every single one of us is going through something.
Yep.
And then we keep it all hidden in private and it's not what we talk about in polite society.
Yep. Because that's where Satan wants it.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if you bury the dead alive, it remains alive.
Yes.
Right.
And it festers.
Yes. And where light shines, darkness cannot be.
Yep.
So God keeps it or Satan keeps it in the darkness because he can work on that.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, and I've said this before. One of my previous guests, Mike, he was a sheriff. He's going to make fun of me for getting this wrong down in Orange County. And I asked him one time, what did you notice was the difference between kids that, made it and ended up doing good and ones that went down a dark path? And he goes, as soon as they felt like they couldn't talk to their parents and they needed to hide stuff. And I mean, that theme carries out as soon, right? It could be in marriage. One of the partners does something and they're too embarrassed to talk it out with their partner and communicate.
Communication is huge.
It's everything.
It is huge. Because even after 10 years of marriage, and now I'm in 16 years of marriage, it's like, how do you not know what I'm thinking? How do you not know what I'm saying? Like, you've known me for 16 years.
Right.
But you don't.
Right.
Because we have our own brain. Like, you can't. And we think so differently.
Yes.
And so it's like it's so hard still. So you have to have open communication, like process out loud.
Yes.
Because it's still like my brain doesn't go that way. So you still
and we don't have telepathy yet. So let me put this out there for you.
Yes, I know you, but still things change, things whatever, and I still don't think like you.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the I know you. Well, yes, there is who you are, right? There is who Renee is.
Yeah.
But you're growing and evolving and autonomous.
We don't stay the same.
No. And so and especially when you're in a partnership and you think you have a common goal And have you guys actually interpreted that goal the same way?
Oh yeah.
How
it's
are we
never
going
the
to
same.
attain that?
It's never
and
the same.
as we learn and grow and evolve,
it's never the same.
that those paths and right. It's like, so communicate.
Yeah.
Lovingly.
You have to.
Without judgment.
Yeah.
And you chose that partner for a reason.
Yes.
You want to do life with them.
Yes.
And stuff is going to come up. It always does.
Yeah.
Communicate and love.
Yep. Yeah. So important.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. And it's that simple, but it's not easy.
But it's that simple, but it is not easy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We do. We grow. When you were saying that, I was remembering, so spelling and grammar is not my strong suit.
Oh,
which is very embarrassing because I'm like, I have a doctoral degree and I can't spell.
But you can just scribble anyways because that's what we expect.
It's fine, right? So my husband used to proofread my papers.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, no, he's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah.
He is well articulated. His grammar and spelling is spot on. My husband's brilliant.
I love that.
And so he used to proofread my papers. And even starting grad school, he would proofread my papers. And then there was a point where he stopped proofreading my papers.
Oh.
And I just thought it was because they're too long at this point. Like nobody wants to proofread a 30-page paper. And he doesn't know what all this like dictation, like, quotes and stuff are anyway.
Right. But, I mean, he's getting an education while he's proofreading your stuff.
My husband knows nursing so well.
Inside and out.
He used to study with me.
That's amazing.
He used to do flashcards and stuff. And he's so cute. He's like, yeah, how else am I going to mingle within like your medical group if I don't even know what they're talking about?
He can't attend those cocktail parties.
No. So when he goes, people will be like, so what medical part or what do you do? He's like, I pour concrete. Isn't that brilliant?
That's so good.
And he's so smart. He knows just as much as I do because I'm also a verbal processor.
Right. Yeah. So he's getting all of it.
So I'm just like,
my gosh. Now the question is it reversed? Do you know how to pour concrete as well as he does? No. Okay. All right.
No.
Yeah.
We like soft hands.
Oh yeah. That was one of my missions is if I'm going to have a desk job, I still have to have calluses and
you do.
manly hands.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I
totally just distracted us.
No, I love that. Yeah. So there was a point where he didn't proofread them anymore. And he's like, no, I don't need to. You've done so great and you write beautifully and you don't even need. I'm like,
oh, I love that.
So my communication has grown.
Yeah.
It's changed. And even the way I articulate words and like, do things, he's like, yeah, it's different.
Oh,
so the communication changes.
It does. Yeah. It all does.
And even your thought process and how I used to be, I know it's going to surprise you. Like super high strung and like A-type and like everything was scheduled. Okay?
You?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Now I'm super chill. Like when you're like, what time? I'm like, I don't do anything past 10 o'clock.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like 10:30ish. I don't like to commit.
So good. Well, I
don't know how I'm going to feel that morning.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
with you. Oh my
take.
gosh. Yeah.
I don't
Committing
have
to
anymore.
a hard time is, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just going to not set an alarm and wake up.
And you were here
when
like
I wake up.
right on the nose too.
I know, which is weird.
Amazing.
That was weird.
Most of my people are like 20 minutes, 30 minutes late.
Okay, that's rude.
Well, and sometimes I don't even get a text and I'm like, it's still happening. I'm just going with the flow.
That's rude.
One was even an hour late.
Oh, that's rude.
And I even texted to confirm the time. They're like, yep, I'll be there. And then
you're like, it's there.
Right. Like we already switched clocks like a couple months ago. So like there's no, I don't know. Maybe you didn't switch it in your car. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just go with the flow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the growing and so this is children.
Well, I've seen this.
Oh.
I have seen this. We've had this conversation. This is deja vu. I've had this.
Oh. Yeah, deja vu is amazing.
I have had this.
Where do we go from here?
This is so bizarre. I don't know. This was like years ago. I had a dream about this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't
what the heck? I've been asking God to talk to me in like dreams and visions and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's not happening yet.
Oh, yeah. I'm well, except for right there.
I know, but it's like I didn't know. This was years ago.
Yeah.
Like you just saying that and seeing this, like I don't know. There's something there. That's weird.
I
already knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah, I get deja vu,
you get
and
that?
I have lucid dreams, and I get a lot of communication in dreams.
Yeah, I haven't yet.
Yeah,
I'm asking for it. But
the one I'm jealous of is and I mean this almost ties back to the hospice piece in a thinner veil. Is I'm always jealous of people that can see.
See things.
Yep.
I don't know that I want.
Yeah, For the longest time, I've wanted it. And then I'm like, okay, it's just, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I guess it's not mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how everybody has different gifts. And
everybody has different gifts. Lately, he's been waking me up.
Mm.
He's giving me things that I don't want, you know?
Yeah, that's how that works.
You know, like, I'm like, really, like, sleep is so important to me. I am somebody who I need like 9 hours a night. I can sleep 10 to 11 on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I am a sleeper. I've always been a sleeper. I love my sleep. I'm not a napper.
No.
I sleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm too groggy if I nap.
And he's been waking me up. And
That's
I'm
rude.
like, I know. But I know part of it, well, I don't know this, but I think it is. I've been very busy with the clinic and getting that open.
Yeah.
And so I'm not spending as much time with him.
Oh.
And so he's like, this is the only time that I get intimate time with you.
Oh.
So I'm going to wake you up and show you.
Cool.
So the first time, so I promised so I spoke this with my girls in my group and I told them, like, God's waking me up. And I'm fighting him on it because I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified, here's fear, that I'm not going to be rested for the day because I got up, got out of bed, went to my Bible or prayed or whatever.
Right.
Which is not true. He's always going to sustain you, especially if he asks you to do something like that, right?
Yep. That's how that works.
So I got up for the first time. This is recent. And I was so excited. I'm like, yes, okay, I got to tell you this. What happened to me? So I'm laying there and I'm like starting to wake up and I'm like, okay, God, are you waking me up? Not waking me up. And then I roll back over. Then I wake up again. And I'm like, because this is me actually trying to like think my way out of getting up.
Right.
And I say it again. The third time, here's the threes. I get this on my shoulder.
No.
Like I could feel it
way.
and it sounds like that.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, God. Yes.
Yep.
Like this is you.
Got the message.
This has never happened to me before.
That's so cool.
So I get up, I go downstairs and I have a little chair and my Bible and stuff. And I'm like, okay, God's going to show me visions and dreams and all this cool stuff. Yeah, no. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Give me something
There's
cool.
going to be something amazing.
No. I just opened up scripture and he confirmed that he was the one waking me
that's
up.
Cool.
Which
but
is so cool. Right.
It's
but
the
like,
still small
on.
voice, right? It's not in the...
No. And he's working that muscle, right?
Storm.
I'm not going to give you something you can't handle.
Yeah.
You haven't even proven yourself to like grow this muscle or receive what I'm about to give you.
Yeah.
Like you need to grow this muscle so you can handle it.
Yep.
Right.
So you're going to get woken up a lot in the coming future and then just exercise that muscle. And
oh my gosh, dang it. I was so excited.
I'll have to check in with you here in about
lightning
3 to
and
6
thunder
months.
and visions and yes, God, show me. And he gives me the scripture, which was pretty cool actually. And I'm all like, yeah, but come on. Come on. And then he's like, well, how am I gonna keep getting this intimate time with you if I just give you the big thing all at once?
Oh, that's a good point too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been working on like kind of slowing down, getting things like cutting things out.
Yeah.
So I have more time to rest.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. And spend with
Well,
him.
and were they things that you, I mean, the punchline is probably yes, they were things you needed to cut out, but were they like negative things or were they?
No, they're always good things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of me too, that he's working through me is I always feel like I'm not doing enough.
Oh, right.
Because I have so much I can give. There's so much I can do.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm not doing something, I feel like I should be doing something.
Yeah.
So they're always good
it's
things.
That slowdown that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 Well, and we do. Our lives, there's endless things that we could be doing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not.
Yeah.
God operates in the still small voice.
Oh, yeah. And he's made it very clear, too, that it's okay. And my husband's so supportive with us, too. Like, he takes the guilt away for me to rest. My husband's good at resting.
Is he?
Well, at least it looks like he's
good at resting. He's good.
You know what I mean? You guys are really good at hiding things.
Oh, yeah.
But it comes from a place of protection. Like, to protect your family and your wife and your household. And so, yes.
Yeah, I don't want to let my wife know if I'm stressing about something because I don't want to add to her plate.
Exactly.
And so Yep.
But he's good at resting. He's very good at reading me too. And so I've recently asked him to help me with that. And so he'll no, you can not do anything today or go do this or, so he's really good at that. But God has made it clear. He told me, when he's put like these main things in my life that I need to focus on that are good, that are part of him, that whatever you need to be doing. And when you don't leave space to rest, you don't have the time or energy to do those things.
Yeah.
Nor do you have the time and energy for your family and your friends.
Yes.
So again, it comes to what are you sacrificing?
Right.
And so he created the Sabbath for a reason,
Yep.
but it's more than just that. Like if you had a heavy day and you need just to do a half day because you can't take it, or you're going through some healing from some trauma, which I recently found out like this last 6 months, I'm going through another stage of like healing and trauma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And even from this convention, I realized like, and I need to go back through my notes, my body's going through this right now. So I am finally in a place where my body feels safe to release the trauma.
Yeah.
So I'm physically releasing some trauma and some stuff right now.
Yep.
And so I'm exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, it's so important for me to have time to rest.
Yes.
So that I can care for my patients in the women's ministry the way that he wants me to. And it's so true. And so that's like something that I'm working on right now and trying to do.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, that kind of ties back to what you were talking about with, well, did you drink water? Did you drink water?
Yeah.
Right? Like you for all of that to process,
Which
the water is the rest. It is the being able to commune with God. It is the letting that, and then your body can let go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And building relationships. So, I learned that a little while ago too, because we're in this, like you mentioned, the society where it's go, 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 and all these things, and we have these tasks and these to-do lists, right? And it's like, no, it's about relationships.
Yes.
So it's even carving out time for that. So like I have a handful of retired people in my neighborhood or people that work from home.
Yeah.
And so it never fails if they're outside and I walk my dog, like I need to set 20 minutes aside.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So little things like that.
You're going to have a little detour.
Yeah. So if we fill our day full of all of these like back-to-back appointments and things, you don't leave time or space for those relationships to happen.
Right.
And it hasn't happened recently, but I get people that stop me out in public that don't even know me just to like have a conversation with me.
That's so cool.
It's so bizarre. And they'll tell me like I get a life story, I get some health thing, I get something. And then I'm sitting there for 20 or 30 minutes talking to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
And so it's like I have to, and we on this side of the country, we suck at it. Over in Florida, they're so chill. They're so good at leaving time for this.
Yeah.
Like, like if you go to the grocery store, you're going to spend 15 to 20 minutes talking to the checkout lady.
Extra.
It's just part of it.
It's a part of the process.
Over here, not so much.
No, we aren't. Although, I mean, it's even like 10 times worse on the west side.
Yeah.
There is still some of that here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was at a random Starbucks with my oldest, and next thing you know, I'm finding out what this kid's major is and all the things that you just said, right? You end up getting a person's life story.
Yeah.
He goes, how do you do that? Is that your superpower? But I wonder if I wonder what that common theme is. It's the people, because you do have that ability, right? You can talk to anybody and everybody, and there is no judgment. And I think people can sense that.
Apparently.
And because that's not a common thing.
I guess not.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's even as little as the person at the checkout, right?
Yeah.
Looking at them and saying, how's your day going?
Yeah.
And actually meaning it, right? Not that like, how you doing? Good.
Yeah.
Right. Like that. Yeah. Everybody knows when that's superficial.
Yep.
There is a difference when you look them in the eye and you say, how's your day been?
Yeah.
And then it just, that wall is it comes crumbling down and they open up.
I don't know.
Do you enjoy it? Cause I enjoy it.
When I leave space for it.
When you're not in a rush.
Because I'm not great at leaving space for it.
Yeah.
That's something I'm working on.
Yeah.
So when I'm good at leaving space for it, yes.
Great.
Because I've prepared for that. I've anticipated that, right?
Yeah.
But when I haven't, or I'm not in the mood, no.
Yeah. Now, can you actually shut that off?
No.
Oh. No. I have to keep my head down, and I have to not rude, but I just have to act like everybody else.
Can't do eye contact.
Yeah, as soon as
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I think I can, but you can completely read me.
Oh, yeah.
Like that doesn't,
Yeah.
and I've been
Yeah.
like, I've said something to my husband, like, I did a good job there. He's like, yeah, okay. Definitely not.
I'm going to have Daniel on because
you should. Actually, I don't know. I would be curious to see how he does.
Yeah.
Because he's actually, he claims to be an introvert, but he's really good with people.
Yeah, that comes across.
And he communicates well, and he's just so brilliant, but it exhausts him.
Oh, yeah.
He prefers to be alone.
Right. Yeah. His battery gets recharged.
Yes.
Solo.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's talking to people all day long. He's been in concrete for like 25 years.
Yeah.
So he's very good at what he does.
Oh,
and and the Daniel I see is not what everybody else sees.
Totally.
Right? So he is more fun and energetic than I am. He is hilarious, but nobody else sees that.
Oh, that's so funny.
Which is kind of cool because it's my own little like secret.
Yeah.
That's so good. Yes, my husband's fantastic, but you guys
that's
know
what
how fantastic he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
like
so
my little thing.
good.
I love him so much.
Well, okay.
But we'll see. I don't know.
What's your favorite thing about him?
Oh, there's so many.
Why is he your person?
One.
Why did you pick Daniel? And why are you thankful that you picked him?
Oh, I'm so thankful. That was God led too.
Oh.
Which is bizarre. So he is not my type. Like he never was my type. And that's a thing because
it's 100%.
I was 19.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So at that age, that's a thing.
Yeah.
No, God like blinded me from everything.
Yeah.
And he actually pursued me for a while and I denied him.
Oh.
Yes.
Hard to get.
Because I was in school full time and I didn't have time for any of that. I was focused and I didn't need any distractions.
Dang boys.
Yeah. Gosh. Then a year later we get married. So it's definitely a God thing. And we have just grown so much. And he is just so sweet and he's so kind and he's so supportive. And we just have so much fun together.
Yeah.
He's my best friend.
I love that.
And we travel well together and we just have so much fun.
That's so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
You complement each other.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Good. And I love the fun part.
We have a lot of fun and sometimes it gets a little overboard because we can get a little too sarcastic. But we just have a lot of fun and we play and we're sarcastic.
What do you guys like to do together? You said travel.
We travel. We ride dirt bikes together.
Oh, yeah.
We do a lot of car stuff together. My husband likes to work on cars, so we go to the racetrack a lot and watch racing. We've been going to Florida the last 4 or 5 years, and so we go to the 24-hour Daytona race.
Cool.
Every year.
Yeah.
Yes.
When is that?
January.
Oh,
which
okay.
Is
so
perfect.
you're getting out of here.
So we do the end of January, beginning of February over there. And then this year or next year, we're going to do a different segment of the race. So that's the first race that like starts off the IMSA series.
Right.
And so we're actually going to do another one, a different one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
different location though, right?
Yes.
So it's still trying to pin down which one.
Yeah, it'll kind of just depend on time, work, whatever.
All that
so
stuff,
it's either going to be, the second one is in Florida, but it's in February. So that'll be nice.
Cool.
It's Central Florida. Yeah. So we'll probably do that. And then the third one is in Southern California. So we might do that one. I don't know.
But somewhere sunny. Yes. When it's not sunny here.
And it's perfect.
And
like
together.
That January, February. Yeah. And it's so great. We have so much fun when we go on vacation. Sometimes we just do like the nerdy, check out a city touristy type things. And my husband really likes history and architecture. And I really like the art. And so it complements each other well. Like he could really not, he's okay with going to art, galleries and stuff. But I also
that's not going to be
do his history stuff. So it's a good whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll tour stuff together and talk about things.
That's
and we
cool.
both really like food. So we try different food.
Food's so good.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm lucky I'm not 100 pounds heavier because I really like food.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. What we do recently. Yeah. And just our chickens right now.
And the chickens.
In the garden.
And you got to get a fence around that garden.
He loves those chickens.
Does he?
He does. It's so cute.
Have you named all 10?
No, we don't name them. My husband grew up with our animals.
Oh, and you don't name them. No, if you're going to eat it, you don't name it.
You don't name it.
No.
So I actually named them after what they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have I have lavender Orpingtons. So
Yeah.
I just call them lavenders or
Okay.
Lavy.
Yeah.
And then I've got a Isa Brown Orpington. So I call her Isa Brown.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but we don't have Betsy and we don't have no.
The only one that actually has a name is Pepper.
Oh no.
I know. She's awful. She's super spicy, which is so ironic because that's not why we named her Pepper.
Really?
Yeah. She's a sapphire gem. I'm so new with this. I have no idea. I just know.
You're throwing these out and I'm like, yeah, I know
just know
those.
my birds. I just know mine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. They give me eggs. I feed them.
Yeah, exactly.
But she is peppered in color. So I called her Pepper. But she's super
So
spicy. She's the one that starts all this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She's also the first one that's going to get eaten.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I've got Rhode Island Reds. So I always just call them like a red or something like that. But yeah, it's really funny because there's a couple of them that love my husband.
Yeah.
And will come to him and just want him to pick them up.
Oh,
and
that's sweet.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he'll put them to bed at night and put them in the coop. And I'll come home and I'll be like, did you put the girls to bed? Yeah.
That's so cute.
I know. It's so cute. My big old concrete man.
I was just going to say, this big, concrete guy. Yeah.
He is the sweetest.
You put the girls to bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so I have a punchline last question.
Oh gosh.
But before we do that,
okay,
is there anything about Renee that we didn't cover that needs to be like, man, we missed this facet of you that how did we skip over that?
Oh my gosh. I don't think so. Not right now.
We'll have to
time will tell.
Time will tell. We can always do.
So evolving and changing.
Yeah. If we did this a year from now, 5 years from now, it's going to be.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I have a feeling I'm going to have a handful of those where, all right, guys, we
Let's
had Renee on in 2025, but in 2030.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
We'll see.
So my punchline question.
Do you ask everybody this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you had a megaphone that could reach everybody in the world, what would your message to them be?
Oh my gosh. That's a good one.
Right?
Do I need to say it in the camera?
Maybe, for dramatic effect.
Okay. I don't want it to be corny or cheesy.
They're all so good. And half of them are corny and cheesy. And that's what's so good about it.
I said a lot within my stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, it would be Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's why I'm I don't want to sound corny or cheesy, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Jesus, he just loves you so much. And there's so much that he has to offer and does in all of our lives. And it's so layered. And like you're saying, all these threads and all these pieces. And even now, future Renee is going to look back and be like, oh, baby girl, you didn't even know.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even now, I'm like, oh, 20-year-old Renee, oh, you didn't even know.
Right.
And, say that a whole bunch of times. And so it's okay that you don't have it all put together. Yeah. And it's okay that you just have this layer because God's going to meet you, and Jesus, you're going to know Jesus, and he's just going to keep building that and layering that. And it's going to be beautiful. And your story is going to help so many people. And yeah, it's just future Renee, future you, baby girl, you don't even know.
I love that. That's so good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Renee, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
this has been a blast.
This is great.
It's fun, right?
I want to do your interview. Put me on the list.
You're on
the list.
On the list. I think I might have to have both of you, and then we'll.
It would be fun.
I'm gonna get.
Yeah, it'll be good.
It'll be good. My mouth will hurt again.
Yep.
I'll just
you're gonna be sweating. We're gonna be asking questions.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Oh, and I've got some stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might have to be a two-parter.
It might have to be.
Yeah. That'll be good.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Main Character Podcast. If you dig the content, please click that follow button. And if you found today's guest inspiring, please share this episode with someone you think will benefit from it. If you'd like to be a guest on Main Character Podcast, reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, where I'd also appreciate a follow. All links can be found at my website, coachwithbrandon.com.